views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at talkrealsolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of talkrealsolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not talkrealsolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
All right. Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions, and I am your host tonight, Tyrone Thompson. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is August the 13th, 2026. And if you want to join the conversation, all you have to do is dial the number at 1-717-908-1834. And I'll open your line and you can have a conversation. The participant code is 624794. All you gotta do is call in and I'll let you talk. You know, I don't care what the subject matter is or what your opinion is. I just ask that we respect one another and try not to talk over one another. I don't know why I say that shit. Don't nobody listen to it any goddamn way. But I have to try because it's the right thing to do. Especially when I get these coons calling in. What's up, Frodo? Especially when I get these coons calling in like I did last week. You know, maybe I shouldn't call people names. But I'm a country boy. I am not highly educated, so I don't have no goddamn other name to call them besides coons. But you know who I'm talking about. So, yeah, but just try to respect one another when you're on the line, and for the most part, people do, but people just leaning right or has a Republican mindset. For some reason, they don't respect the rules while screaming that everybody else should abide by rules. It's a strange thing to watch as they criticize people in society for doing all these things. They don't follow the rules themselves, you know, and that repeats itself throughout the entire Republican Party. All the contradiction, all the hypocrites, every one of them are liars, and they do the exact same thing that they claim the other side is doing. You know, at this point, I'm proud to be a left-leaning. I would even call myself a extreme left-leaning thinker in this country, politically anyway. You know, I don't want anything to do with the right, the way they think. I don't want anything to do with their values, how they handle issues. I would never associate myself with any politically right thinker. And people need to at least come to that understanding about themselves. I'm not telling you that you have to be a political Democrat. I'm not telling you you have to be a liberal. I'm not saying any of that. Even though I don't mind people who's on the left that thinks like that. I'm just saying, please stay away from anything right on the right politically, anything Republican, anything conservative. All of those values are not for humanity, you know, and it goes to that extreme because what we're looking at now is just something that I've never seen. in politics. It's out of control. And I don't think there's no putting this genie back in this bottle. To be honest with you, once white people at the top allowed everybody in this country to be racist and lie about politics and just manipulate information, no accountability through the justice system. Um, Once they started allowing everybody to do that, this whole system is crumbling down in front of our face. As we watch corrupt judges make decisions, um, we watch literally people get away with killing black people in this country. It's just gone crazy. So anyway, that's my mindset currently. I would call myself. I wouldn't say extreme left, but I'm at the damn edges. Because if you look at the Democrat Party now, the Democrats, they fall in line with the corporations. Um, you've got to support Israel if you're a Democrat. They forgot about their constituents and doing things for their constituents. The Democrats have turned their back on the black community. That's the reason that you see things like DEI and woke. You see that stuff getting traction because the Democrats aren't pushing back politically on those things. They allow it to happen. As a matter of fact, they embrace it because they use the same type of rhetoric in their political position. What's up, East Coast? But anyway, I don't know what I'm ranting about. But just like every week, I do not have anything to talk about. As far as what I've been doing around here, working around the house. It's been rainy weather in Myrtle Beach for the majority of the week. As far as working outside, I do have my robot lawnmower cutting my grass for me. And with my weight, well, you know what? With my weight loss, I actually achieved one of my goals, which was to get up under 170 pounds. I want to get down to 165. So yesterday and today, I was 169.4 or 0.6 or something like that. So I was really happy about that. And I just fucked it up tonight because I celebrated by eating some Chick-fil-A, which I probably know I shouldn't have done. But I'll work it back off. So I ate me some damn chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A tonight. And I wasn't as pleased as I thought I would be with that stuff. So I definitely won't be eating it again. So I just got to get back out there and get to work and get back on track and eat the right things. I don't think I did too much damage by eating stuff like that. My diet basically consists of protein and avocado, and sometimes a fruit like an apple or orange or banana, and then a tomato. But definitely the avocado and meat. That's a staple that I eat every day. I don't know, 6, 8, 12 ounces of meat and an avocado is my meal. Whether that be chicken, pork chop, fish, or what's the other meat? I don't really eat beef. I will, but I really don't eat beef. But that's basically what I eat: chicken, steak, and pork chop, and avocado every day, and that's been working for me. Um, that ain't the only thing I eat. There's this high protein snack with the name brand of Quest. I eat those. They got chips and they got cookies and stuff like that. It's disgusting, but I eat it to feed the damn cravings. What else? And drink a lot of water. You definitely got to drink a lot of water. Um, and I also drink Sprite Zeros. So that's basically what I've been doing. And walking, 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 walking. I always walk, 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 walk. I was at 3 miles every day one time, but now I'm to about maybe 3 times a week I walk that 3 miles. But every day I walk or get some steps in to get 10,000 steps at least a day. At the highest I did 22,000 steps one day. And yeah, that's what I've been doing. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I've been doing. As far as the social climate in this country, I'm looking at the Nolan Wells situation, and that's kind of why I named the show what I did. I think I named it America's Strange Fruit Black Genocide. Because, like I said long ago, nobody is paying attention because we've been misled into thinking that this society is treating everybody fairly. And at the same time, what I've been taking notice of is white America has never changed when it comes to black people. And what's been confusing black people is they will come up with terms like white allies. I've heard that a lot. And that throws people off because instead of having your guards up most of the time, you look for an ally, and that allows the ally to get into the door and stab you in the back. When we should be having our guards up with everybody. People should have to prove themselves in order to be in close proximity to black people. That's just the way it should be. And the reason that I'm saying that is because our children and our community is getting killed every day by these people, just like they did in the 1800s. In 2026, there are lynchings being reported. There are unexplained black deaths being reported. There are people dying in police custody, and the police are getting away with it. And normally I would have a list of people and cases, but at this point in time, first of all, it's traumatic to be looking at these situations where these people are dying and all of a sudden coming on here saying this is how this person died. But first of all, it's traumatic. And I'm not saying I'm not going to do it again in the future, but every time I look at a situation pertaining to black death, it adds on to the trauma and the experience of being in this racist ass country, knowing that nobody is doing anything to stop the black genocide that is going on in America. And it's so much so that when I use the term black genocide, people will listen to me and say that's being extreme. There's not a black genocide going on in this country. And then they will try to explain away each situation and justify and justify whatever death occurs. Yeah, and I'll use George Floyd as an example here because we saw George Floyd get murdered by a police officer. And still to this day, you would have people argue that George Floyd died from a drug overdose. That is a fact. While that genocide happened and was witnessed by millions of people worldwide, because the white propaganda and its efforts to commit black genocide is so strong, even though people seen that murder with their own eyes, they would call in here or try to explain away that murder by victim blaming and saying that he caused his own death, instead of holding a white man that actually was witness committing the murder accountable. And that's just an example of what I'm talking about here. Because we got a situation that's currently happening in Mississippi with Nolan Wells. Now, I explained last week that if somebody dies mysteriously, surrounded by hundreds of people, there should be at least an answer to explain that death. Notice I didn't say that it was a crime committed. Right? That's a whole different can of worms. If somebody dies mysteriously and they're with me and I see them fall and hit their head, the explanation would be, I seen this person fall and hit his head, and that caused his death. Right? Well, if somebody dies with me and we're riding in the car and they all of a sudden clench their chests and stop breathing or whatever people do when they go through heart attacks, like I say, I assume, because I'm not a doctor, I assume this person had a heart attack and passed away. If somebody's with me or with you, and you guys are out riding bicycles and this individual runs in front of a car, you can report that I seen this bicycle run in front of this car and that's how he got killed. So there's so many scenarios to where when you're with somebody and somebody loses their life, there is a way to report that loss of life accurately and you not be held accountable for telling the truth about how that person lost their life. This teenage boy was on a holiday vacation with so-called friends, with hundreds of people on the island, and he ends up dead. Now, you remember me saying that I would tell you about how that person bumped his head, or how that person had a heart attack, or how that person rode his bicycle into traffic? he ended up losing his life, and not one individual that was in that vicinity has came forward and said, I saw Nolan slip and bump his head and fall in the water. You know, I seen Nolan, I don't know, have an accident and fell in the water. You know, not one individual has came forward with a dead teenage child and said that they've seen anything. Nolan wasn't alone on that island. He didn't know everybody that was there. And the majority of people on that island were white. I can almost promise you, somebody seen what happened to Nolan Wells in his last moments of life. Now, the problem is with savages and these barbaric pieces of shit is whenever they get on code, which is what they are now, then it's very tricky to catch them off code, right? Very tricky. They did an autopsy of that young man, and in order for them to keep hidden what happened to this child, they didn't release the autopsy. They on code. And when a second autopsy was asked for, and they sent the remains of Nolan Wells to be examined for a second time, they didn't send 100% of the remains. They held on to the throat and the lungs. They on code. When initially it was reported that Nolan Wells had passed away, the sheriff from that area got on the video and told everybody that there was no foul play here. A person in authority is reporting to the world that when a black boy dies mysteriously in Mississippi, he's the first one out there to tell people that there was no foul play. They on code. And not only that, the people that was with Nolan Wells, one of their parents is a judge, and that judge told everybody to delete their social media accounts and she made a public statement on Facebook. They're on code continuously. So now they're creating a narrative that after this black child died mysteriously, probably murdered. I don't know if anybody killed him or not. I can't say for sure. But now, before a proper investigation is done, before a determination of actually what happened to Nolan is out, everybody has a message that Nolan, there was no foul play with the passing of Nolan Well. See, this is Mississippi. Now, I don't know what happened to that boy, but I do know if it was an accidental death that could be simply explained away, we would have that explanation. I do know if there was a way. No, if these people wasn't trying to hide something, they wouldn't have lawyers right now. Why would you have a lawyer if you didn't do nothing? See, the way white people do things is they throw their rock and hide their hand and then play victim, right? We see it all the time. We see it all the time in these videos with these Karens, and then they run up on a black person and they start screaming and they call the police, and they're the one causing the goddamn problem. So in this situation, they got lawyers and they're blaming everybody else. And they're trying to sue people, even that boy's family. And all everybody want to know is what happened to Nolan. So if you weren't guilty of something, then you wouldn't be trying to hide your goddamn hand and protect yourself, right? And when I watched Ben Crump today, I think I know what sent them over the edge. Because Ben Crump said that he sent out letters to preserve evidence. He said that's standard in cases like this. That, whoever was there, whoever might have witnessed something, whoever might have seen anything, that office sent out letters to these people that they can contact to preserve evidence. Because to me, what that means is they're going to start talking to people, collecting evidence, collecting cell phone data, collecting whatever they can find to come to a resolution on what happened to Nolan. And it seemed like to me, after they sent out these letters of to tell people to preserve their evidence, people started getting lawyers and stuff. So that's odd. That's odd. If I have evidence that could help solve this situation, why wouldn't I just turn it in? Or give it up? Or do the investigation, or talk to somebody. Why do I need a lawyer for protection? That's what's weird about these people. That is what's weird about this situation, is all of a sudden they're lawyering up. They're not. Nobody accused them of killing anyone. Nobody has accused them of committing any crime. Nobody has said anything. Now, you may have some people on the internet that might be saying some things, but that boy's family has not accused anyone of doing anything criminal. Ben Crump hasn't accused anybody of doing anything criminal. The reason that they are able to hold on to Nolan's phone right now is because it's not a criminal investigation. The reason that they are able to hold on to their own phones is because it's not a criminal investigation. If it was a criminal investigation, that evidence would have been collected a long time ago. Now, and I don't think it's a criminal investigation because none of this stuff has been to a grand jury yet. Now, if it becomes a criminal investigation, people's going to get notified to do all sorts of things to preserve the evidence and all that kind of stuff. But it's not a criminal investigation yet. And part of the reason that it's not a criminal investigation yet is because the people down there in Mississippi ain't sharing information about the autopsy with the mother or the investigation that they've done so far with the mother or the family. And it's taken too long. It is taking too long for a situation like this not to have an answer or resolution about how that boy passed away. There's something going on down there in Mississippi. Like I said, the strange fruit. And black genocide in this country. And the strange part is, it's not strange to me, I'm used to it, but people are supportive of harassing this family and mourning. People are supportive of a black child getting murdered or dying accidentally, and people don't care about finding an answer to what happened to somebody's child. So I don't know what the outcome is going to be with this situation, but I can tell you that because it's been so long, and if these people were really trying to, or if these people really wasn't involved in anything, you wouldn't have them trying to do these social media tours by talking to Brandon Coon Tatum and trying to create a narrative. Even their lawyers have been on talk shows trying to create a narrative. There was this clip going viral about their lawyer talking to this one radio talk show host, and he basically said that the mother and father didn't turn the phone over to the police down there, and they wasn't sharing information. Mind you, I just told you that this wasn't a criminal investigation, so they have no obligation to turn that phone over. And we all know we can't trust the goddamn police when it comes to black people, so they're holding on to that evidence. And it was explained in the interview today what their intentions was with that evidence. The lawyer came on and said that in every situation like this, and you got different sides that is involved, all three sides at the same time agree upon a date and a method of how they're going to inspect that evidence. And Mississippi is the one that's holding up and not coming up with a date and time to inspect that phone. So it's not they won't turn it over. It's that they're not going to fucking give it to them and chance it getting lost or destroyed, because we know how the police is. I wouldn't give it to them either. But the lawyer is out here doing these talk shows and saying that the parents won't give it away. Why are they trying to change the narrative and demonize the parents? It's one of these things to where, and not only that, the lawyers are suing people on social media that is giving commentary about this situation. What are you doing? Are you trying to say people can't talk about Nolan Wells going to this island with white people and him being one of the only black people there, not returning, and his white friends? So what you mean you can't say that? That's what the fuck happened. It's strange fruit and black genocide. That's what happens in this country. It's in their DNA. It's in their genetics. It's in this country's DNA. We watch this on a regular basis with police officers and people in high positions and people in HOAs and white women in Walmart and just people in Florida pulling out guns at solicitors, people just going around the neighborhood trying to solicit business. You know, we watch this all the time in this damn country. This is nothing new. You know, we talked about the case of the young man that went swimming with his friends, and the white boys came back, but the young man didn't, and they hid his clothes in the bushes and lied about what happened. You know, this is an ongoing thing in this country where black people think that they're in good company when it comes to hanging out with white people, and they end up dead. These people can't help it. They're savages. That's what the fuck this country. And then the sad part is we got Negroes in this country that will stand up and defend whatever Massa does. You know, it kind of reminds me of our conversation last week with Brother K. You know, Brother K was so hell bent on defending Donald Trump. He even put his position in the government on the line. He said, "I work for the government, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to Trump." I mean, what the fuck? You know, because you voted for Trump, you voted to demonize your position in the government and belittle it, because look who is working in the goddamn government. Donald Trump is working in the government, right? And he's one of the dumbest motherfuckers to ever walk the face of the goddamn planet. So that means that anybody can work for the government. Any dumb motherfucker can work for the government. And what the fuck Brother K was saying last week proves my theory that a dumb motherfucker can work for goddamn the government. So that doesn't mean anything. There's no credibility for you because you work for the government. The government hires ignorant motherfuckers. That has been proven. So whenever you're trying to defend Donald Trump's policies, and then you put up your credentials that you work for the government, that doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Rudy Giuliani worked for the goddamn government. Right? Stephen Miller worked for the goddamn government. Steve Bannon, Elon Musk, all of these corrupt pieces of shits and pedophiles work for the goddamn government. So your credentials about working for the government don't mean a goddamn thing, because you got a bunch of idiots working for the government. There is no reason to trust any government official or anybody that has a government job and give them credibility for anything. Because this government and these dumbass motherfuckers that hold these positions has done and ran up the cost of living in this goddamn country, put us in a war, allow pedophiles and rapists to walk free in this goddamn country. There's no accountability. So don't come to me trying to validate Donald Trump's positions and use your credibility as a government employee to try to validate something, because it means shit. All it means is you trying to compare yourself in line with a dumbass. That's all it means. And I don't know what policies we were talking about. It don't come to mind right now. It was either the tariffs or one of his spending bills, the big beautiful bill. Oh, what the fucking ballroom. That's what the hell we were talking about. And he was trying to say, since I work for the government, I seen the paperwork, blah, 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 and the taxpayers ain't paying for shit. You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. So you, all the news outlets are reporting on taxpayers funding this fucking bullshit that everything Donald Trump is doing. The taxpayers wasn't going to pay for the plane. They did. The taxpayers wasn't going to pay for the pool. They did. And the taxpayers wasn't going to pay for the ballroom. They are. So that means you're an idiot. You're not in touch with reality of what's going on in this country. And that's most of the right wing in this country. They're walking around indoctrinated, walking in a fog, and then they try to convince people that, like me, just has a little bit of common sense and look over and see what's going on. And it's crazy. These people are brainwashed. Donald Trump has caused the increase in grocery prices in this country. His family is making billions, and his oligarchy friends are making billions, while small businesses are going out of fucking business with his decision on tariffs. And speaking of the big beautiful bill, in that big beautiful bill, it caused an increase in Medicaid and social services. And that attacks senior citizens and people with disabilities and working families, because now they can't afford fucking health care. But these programmed fucking indoctrinated zombies, all they can do is shake their head north and south and say, yes, master, I love Trump. Trump is perfect for the country, while Trump is driving this motherfucking country over a goddamn cliff. Do y'all remember Doge with Elon Musk? Elon Musk was elected to shit. And Donald Trump allowed Elon Musk to have access to everybody's sensitive information. And then lied about saving the American taxpayers' money, when all he did was steal information, our personal information, for him damn self and his companies, and fire legitimate government workers, and it didn't save the country no goddamn money. And while those existed, all of a sudden you hear all these people screaming that they was going to get a damn Doge check from the government. Did you get your goddamn Doge check? Y'all motherfuckers stupid. These are some of the dumbest motherfuckers that is I know I'm running my mouth. Hey, look, just like every week, y'all. If y'all want to call in and cut me off, you can. The number to call is 717-908-1834. I'll open your line because I just be up here running my damn mouth about whatever. I look like somebody got tired of me talking. Who's this unknown caller?
Keep running your damn mouth.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? I mean,
Nothing.
you dropping, you just talking the truth. I mean, you know, but I would say this, man, and I keep seeing this as what you said and what I've been watching on the news, and you know, and how people are interacting in real time. You know, you're in a different place, I'm in a different place. There's a lot of other people here, you know, that calls in different cities and states and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I say this, man, and it's sad, but it is the truth. The only one that's gonna save us is our own, is ourselves, because you see, you know what's happening, who's in control, you know, and this is I say beyond the president, you know, I'm saying people that are, you know, when you always had people that were followers, and this is not social media. We talking about before social media. You had followers. You always had people that was a clown, and then you know, them people follow, and then they just add on to it. And I just think that you know, with what's going on, it's almost like a cancer, you know. And I don't want to put it in terms, you know, well, that's just what it is. People could take it how they want, but I think that you know, this all these things that's happening that is not affecting people in this country and the people around the world in a positive way. You know, there's all about money and power, greed, disrespect, getting over on people, you know, hurting people, looking at other people as below yourself, you know, below them, you know, and then treating people like that. And then, you know, the corruption that's going on in this country, I think on a level that's never been seen ever, you know, including the administration, but it doesn't stop there. Some of our own, well, I don't want to identify as a full Democrat because I don't agree with everything Democratic, but, you know, you even have that in the Democratic Party. Of course, it's not as widespread as the Republican, but there's Democratic portion that is holding the people back from doing what they have to do or they want to do or what they need to do. And you know that's like, you know, almost like the cancer within, you know, in addition to what is already being dealt with, you know. And I just say, you know, not to be long, you know, it's only gonna be like-minded people. We're not going to agree on everything, but the majority of the things that matter, you know, and that affect us, that we could say, okay, you know what, this got to change. And putting the egos aside and, you know, I don't say machismo because that shit don't even sound right. But, you know, this masculinity fake shit, you know, and then people acting like the opposite of that. You know, they acted tough, but really, you know, on some feminine shit. You know, and or when it really comes down to the nitty gritty, you know, you see the truth. You know, like big man talking, loud, barking. You know, into barking into somebody bites and actually does something to that person. You know, where they oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't be doing this. And I'm not saying that in a physical term has to be that way. I'm just saying that a lot of people need to be mentally spanked, if you want to say. And there's a lot of intellectual people out here from all levels, from the ghetto to the, you know, the hills, that agree on a lot of things and see the change, the difference. And there's people that got money that see that, you know, that things ain't right. Just because they got money, they know that, you know, things is wrong. And people from our communities that, you know, have made it, you know, are trying to do things, but they can't do it by themselves. So I just say this. When I said from the beginning that who's going to save us but ourselves? And it's going to need numbers. I keep saying it. Strength in numbers. And yes, there's a small portion of this country, society, or people in politics that run it, but they're in the right positions to be able to run it at the numbers that they have. We need to get to those, to overwhelm that and get in those positions of power. It's not going to be an overnight thing, but it has to happen, because if not, we're going to be in trouble. And I just saw something about the AI thing. I keep hearing a lot of AI conversations from all levels, from the person, that's in the street corner, to the person that's involved in technology, to people in politics, to corporations. I mean, there's an AI, thing going on right now. And they said one thing that was important, many things, but one thing that they said, it was like that if AI is not regulated, those that are in position of power and companies are the only ones that's really going to benefit from it, and the people that are not going to benefit are the people that have been going through struggles. So if you're going through struggles now and trying to make it and all type of things, and you're not in a position of power, when this AI starts getting more crazier in the next 5 years, if you ain't in a position where you making power moves, money moves, you're going to be in trouble. Because AI, the ones that control it are going to be the ones that's going to be able to benefit, and they're going to make sure that the people, if you say, they have the haves and have-nots, it's going to be way more have-nots, and there's not going to be a lot of progress with those that are going through struggles now. And, I mean, people could, they could take that apart however they want. This was something that I've heard. This was people talking, and I thought about it. It doesn't mean that, they have the answer to everything, but it was something that made me think, and I was like, ooh. I said, it's just like, like you having a computer and could afford a computer and the latest technology. How many people failed or are not in the game because they didn't have the money or the access to the internet in the very beginning? Mm-hmm. They didn't have the information, the technology to build things. And then the very few that did never made it because they didn't have support behind them. And right. You could look at BlackPlanet.com. BlackPlanet.com. He was the first social media. Mm-hmm. And then this man, however he did what he did, put it together, didn't have a support system. He had it to a certain degree, but then corporations come in and empower these other companies. Then they buy them out, and it goes back to the corporate. Now you find these corporate companies that are on a massive level, and they got the money, and they got the power and the control.
Exactly.
And it's just like advertisement as well. So, if you want to get into the entertainment world, who's popular, who's not. We're talking about algorithms. You got websites that became powerful that wasn't as powerful in the beginning that have the power to sway people left, right, everywhere. And then we got people also that believe whatever people put on the internet. That's some shit. And I'm just saying that in general, if we don't have power and control over these things, and I just said the internet, right, which is a key piece to this, we're going to be in trouble. We're talking about politics. We see what's going on. If we don't get in position of power in the right places, we're going to be in trouble. All branches of government, law enforcement to the people that put laws in place, to people that is in corporate positions. We are going to have to save ourselves, and there's people out there that is putting in the work, blood, sweat, and tears, sacrificing themselves and their families to put themselves out in public in danger and all type of shit. They can't do it by themselves. They need a support system. We need to invest our little dollars in things, whatever we can do. Everybody's not rich, everybody's not wealthy, but if you could do something to help empower a person that's going to help empower you, we need that. And I'm just saying that this is where it's at right now. That's what I'm seeing I'm looking at stuff, I'm seeing how shit is running, I'm seeing how people in positions of power, they're not being checked in different lanes. You know, I don't want to get into personal stuff, but I'll say that I'll give you one. You know, I was dealing with some things, and you know, local politician, and there's, you know, the person pops up at events, and they say, "Oh, give me a call. Let's do this." Or you know, you let them know, "Hey, I'm interested in this. You know, this is happening." I just give you an example. The increase in everything in rent and everything. You know, things are going up. People are being displaced. What's going on with the homeless? You know, where's the medical help for people that need medical attention mentally? There's a lot of homeless people. You know, I know it's not on that one person together, but some of these people are acting like everything is fine and dandy because it's fine and dandy for them. They're driving past those people that are poor. You know, "Oh, well, we got a soup kitchen, but we don't got no place for permanent housing." Oh, they could go to the shelter and stay there and wait. Another thing is the waiting game for people that need to get housing. You know, so I'm just saying that in that, you know, just particularly that, you know, there's people in position and they're not moving it up. You know, it's stagnant. Some of it has to do with other people. Then there's some politicians that's trying to do stuff, but they're not. That's why you see what we're seeing right now with this midterms, right? With the Democrats versus Democrats, and then you have the, you know, the established ones, and then you got the ones that's coming out, you know, so-called rogue, or the ones that's going against the grain, and a lot of them are winning in these places because people are tired of seeing these Democrats that have been promising they're going to do this and that, and they don't do a goddamn thing. They doing shit for themselves. Have they helped some Democrats? Yes. Are they helping doing as much as they can? No. And so I'm just saying, we need people in position of power, more people in every sector that you could think of, from the entertainment to the damn education to the politics to law enforcement, corporate. We need it. And I'm just saying, this is going to continue for 2 years. We're going to have to deal with this shit if the Democratic Party does not up the ante in the sense of getting the word out there, you know, making this serious as it should be. You know, and maybe I don't know, that maybe they're not feeling, a lot of them ain't feeling that pain. They're not feeling the pain. You know, when you talk about, you know, on the high up, the president, oh, well, you know, he don't know what a milk costs. He don't know. He don't go to the store. So for him, everything's fine and dandy. When they driving him everywhere in his limousine or whatever, he's driving through the nice neighborhoods and the highways. They're not bringing them to the poor neighborhoods. And when they do, they look down on those people. So I'm just saying, we definitely need to step up, you know, and it doesn't have to be necessarily me and you. You doing what you're doing, you have a platform that you actually voicing where people could speak and more people could hear and, you know, spread the word and inspire to do something, you know, and get some conversations going that could take it to the next level, even if it's on a micro level. There's other people out there. We need to step it up. Period. Because if we stepped it up, we wouldn't be in this position. So I'm just saying, again, We need to step it up and support those that are there really putting in the work. That's it, brother. It's a lot.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh man, you hit on a lot of key points there, especially about the AI and all of that kind of stuff. That's a really a touchy subject now. It's really a hot subject. And the strange thing to me is about this AI. I remember during the blog talk days, you know, when they were talking about chemtrails and all this kind of stuff, the right wing, they would come on here and they would try to warn everybody about Big Brother and Big Brother watching over you and the government trying to get into your business and all of this kind of stuff. There was I guess you can call it a conspiracy where the right wing was saying that the government is going to surveil you, you know, take pictures of you. And now look at what the right wing is doing. When they're in office, they're allowing access to these flock cameras on every goddamn block that is controlled by AI. And with these cameras, they say they can do facial recognition, track people, just get into people's business. And you don't hear people like ABC was like all against Big Brother and all of this kind of stuff. But you don't hear him saying shit about the government that he supports, him and Sarge, putting in all these flock cameras and putting all these data centers up, these AI data centers, so they can control all this AI and control where people go, track you down every goddamn where. There ain't nobody saying shit about that. Let me see. I'm gonna Google this. It was a right wing conspiracy theory. There it goes. The first thing that goddamn pop up.
You mentioned Rudy Giuliani while you're looking at that, right? Rudy Giuliani was responsible for most of the surveillance, public surveillance in New York City. He's the reason why they put a lot of cameras first starting out in Times Square, 42nd Street, because that was one of the most popular areas in the city. That's the heart of the city. And they spread it out. Now they got cameras everywhere. I mean, it's good and bad to that, you know? But, I mean, again, how it's being regulated, you know, that's where it starts getting murky. And, you know, and then you talk about there was, and this is another story, there was there was police officers that's getting people's license plates and targeting women. Targeting women. Why? They were targeting women to try to rap to them. Think about that. They're trying to go and then they're harassing women. You could look that up.
Yeah, they're abusing the camera system.
Going in the cameras, looking up people's shit, finding out who, you know, what attractive women are there, and looking to do shit. There was a cop that just got caught. I don't know if it was in Florida. And he was targeting women.
They're abusing the system because there was a whole bunch of cops that got caught using the flock system to either track down their exes or follow their exes or some crap like that. They're using the camera system to trace down people that they know, you know, and that's just abuse of the system there.
Using it for personal use, not for professional matters. And so, I mean, that's where, you know, things gotta be, you gotta have oversight of certain shit, and, you know, or most shit. And here we are. That's what I'm saying. Like, again, it boils down to the power, the money, and everything, which has always been. But I think now more than ever, you know, people need to really take this shit serious.
Oh yeah,
you know, because there might be a time we might not even be able to do this.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
If it keeps going, and they do what the hell they want to do, there might be a time where you might not be able to do these shows or have a show. Maybe it might be past our time. I'm saying in the future. The future could come sooner than what it is, or that we think. I'm just saying that, you know, we need to check them things. We want our freedom, you know, and there's got to be careful what's going on right at this time, man. People that claim they love freedom, or they, I'm talking about people that work in government, and they're doing the opposite. They want to take that shit away from you.
Oh yeah, they don't give a shit about free speech. They don't give a shit about freedom.
As long as it's for them. No, they care about free speech and freedom for themselves.
Okay, yeah, I put it like.
It's just like Sarge's beloved president.
Yep.
Everything is bad except for him. When it comes to him, no. And that's the problem. It's like bias is only working for, those that are in power. And I'm just saying that it's getting more and more closer to, this is going to be a serious, serious matter. And people are experiencing it right now.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, man. But look, it says this Big Brother conspiracy theory is a right-wing conspiracy posited on the government evolving into an oppressive, totalitarian surveillance state designed to strip citizens of their civil liberties. Originating from the George Orwell's novel 1984, the term is heavily used in conservative and libertarian circles to criticize the government's overreach and censorship and the erosion of privacy. So all of those things are happening up under Donald Trump. The erosion of privacy, the censorship, the overreach. You see, Donald Trump is not afraid to attack news outlets over saying negative things about him. The overreaching concept breaks down into several different interconnected concerns, each representing a distinct aspect of the theory. The surveillance state, a center pillar of the theory that the government agencies like the NSA, the FBI, the IRS use advanced technology to conduct warrantless and mass surveillance on everyday citizens. That part right there is the flock cameras all day long. Proponents of this view argues that the programs tracking phones, internet browsing history, and digital communications create a pervasive deep state that can monitor, track, and potentially blackmail political opponents. All of that is happening now. Listen, whenever they started having these high-profile cases, and let's say the January 6th situation, right? I didn't mind the January 6th hearings, but what stood out to me is all of these personal text messages that they was able to get out of these people's phone and use as evidence. I was like, damn, you can't do shit on your damn cell phone, and in the future, the government can get in there and see whatever the fuck you've been texting. I don't know where they got this authority from, but if you are doing something criminal and you get caught, and all of a sudden they ask you for your goddamn cell phone, they're authorized to go on your cell phone, go back in your history, talk to these telecom companies, and get all that information that you had in your cell phone. There's no privacy there with these cell phones. There's no privacy there with these cell phones. All right. Proponents of this view argue that the programs tracking phones, internet browsing history, and digital communication create pervasive deep state and can monitor, track, potentially blackmail political opponents or dissenting voices. That's exactly what they do. Free speech and censorship. Many right-wing critics argue that Big Brother, a coalition exists between the government and major technology companies to suppress conservative viewpoints. Well, since the conservatives are in charge, they're actually suppressing the other side's viewpoint. I'll hand you the arrest of Don Lemon. And when they're closing down people like Stephen Colbert and attacking late night shows for saying negative things about the president. Theorists also claim that federal agencies collude with social media platforms and censor and shadow ban dissenting political opinions under these guise of stopping misinformation or hate. So they claim that they stop misinformation or hate, but if you look at Elon Musk's X, Elon Musk's X will ban left-wing posters and allow right-wing posters to actually promote bullshit. There's been plenty of people on these platforms that have been banned or their accounts blocked from Elon Musk, and sometimes on Facebook, at the government's asking them to do that, and they actually do it. So this shit is happening now. But the right wing, ABC, where the fuck are you at? Because this is some of the shit that y'all said was happening. And then it goes on to talk about the medical state and the centralization of the New World Order. But my point is, as the conservatives and the right wing take charge, and they are the deep state, they are the swamp, they are the corruption. These are the things that these people before the right wing got in charge was arguing against. They was implying or claiming that the Democrats were the deep state. They was applying that the Democrats were with the pedophiles and the child sex trafficking and all of these things. But you look at what happened with the Epstein files. Sarge and Brother K and ABC and all of those people, they support pedophilia. They support child sex trafficking. They're not saying a damn thing when the political party aligned with their ideology are committing all of these offenses. They're not saying a damn thing. They don't care about the goddamn children. They don't care about pedophilia. They don't care about Jeffrey Epstein. They don't care about none of that stuff because Donald Trump was down there with Jeffrey Epstein doing whatever with children. You know, they don't give a shit about none of that. You know, it's just I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy of these people and why we cannot take these people serious at all. There's a mental psychosis that is going on in half the goddamn country. Well, the part of the country that supports right-wing politics, there's a mental fucking block in their head that has got them indoctrinated to believe every damn thing that Donald Trump has said. Another thing that just recently is about the 14th Amendment. You know, I mean, clearly the Constitution says what it says, and I'm not trying to get into a long drawn out discussion about it, but it says if you're born here, you're a goddamn citizen. And that is easy to recognize, that if you read the goddamn Constitution, that says if you're born here, you're a goddamn citizen. But he had these people convinced that the Constitution didn't say what the fuck it said. Donald Trump is bringing back racism and discrimination. And they don't give a fuck about that. They don't give a shit about racist. Well, how can I say? They don't give a shit about racist terminology existing. And you know, let me just pause there for a second, because that made me think of something. And I was thinking that, you know, as different races try to make claim to one of the great achievements of their race, right? You can say black people wants peace and justice and fairness, right? You can say that. You can perhaps say that Asian people want to contribute technology or whatever. You can say Hispanic people want to contribute whatever they want to contribute. But what I believe the biggest desire of the white man, and it may seem trivial or minute, but just think about it. The biggest desire for the white man, what the white man really wants most on this goddamn planet, more than anything else, the white man wants to say nigga more than anything else on this goddamn planet. Now, if you think about it, they wrote fucking laws to prevent them from saying nigga. And then now, when you look at what they're striving to do, whenever you hear all these freedom of speech arguments, the freedom of speech is not because anybody is silencing anybody from saying anything. It's that whenever they feel free enough to say the word nigga, and then they get held accountable for it, they want the freedom of speech to be able to say nigga with no accountability. That's one of the biggest things that the white man wants to happen, and they're trying to prime society and to get them to accept that nigga ain't nothing but another word. This is what they say: nigga is just another word, and you shouldn't get offended because the word nigga, because we say the word nigga. If you can say it, we can say it. That's one of the biggest problems that the white man's have, is that he wants to create all of these fucking situations and take away rights and rewrite rules just so he can have the right to say the word nigga. And it's bigger than what I'm just saying here, but that's one of the key desires that a goddamn white man want, to say the word nigga. That's all they want to do, is say the word nigga. Once they can say the word nigga and get everybody else to accept that they say the word nigga, I don't know what's next then. But because black people are holding their goddamn feet to the fire and telling them that's wrong and you can't say it and it's offensive and you should not say it, these people cannot rest until they win that goddamn argument. And that's that whole conversation about free speech. If you think about whenever they arguing about free speech, there's not anything else that people are stopping white people from saying. They're not stopping them from voicing their opinion on abortion. They're not stopping them from voicing their opinion on religion. They're not stopping them from voicing their opinion on politics. They're not stopping them from voicing their opinion on anything. There's not one thing that people call white people out on as far as freedom of speech, except for saying the word nigga. And that spawned that whole free speech argument. And they're willing to tear up the goddamn country to say the goddamn word nigga. I don't know. I just thought about that, and because it's just crazy how bad they want to say the word nigga. Who's this unknown caller here?
How you doing there, Tyrone?
What's happening, East Coast?
Hey, I like your show. How you built it up, and especially Jay's inputs,
Mm-hmm.
because the conversations that you all were having sparked me. Hey, Jay, sparked me to call. You know, other parts of the world, they look at us as the empire. Where you hear the Iranians and everything, and it's in history. We all know that civilizations, the ones that were on the top, from the Dutch to the Spanish to the English, they all have their sunsets. And are we now living in our sunset?
It seems like we are, man.
And you look at this current administration, way back when they said, well, the Russians would they didn't have to fire a shot to defeat us. And you look at how their system of capitalism changed, where they added that capitalism and oligarchs. Putin appointed the people to, you had this sector, you had this sector, and when you fall out of line, you're reined in. And it seems that we're following that same path, and it's all about the leadership. And so we have now. You mentioned about the flock cameras. Jay said they're abusing that system, and they were saying there were policemen that were using it. The girlfriend. So that technology, we've created this technology, but man has too many fallacies. And then when you get an administration like we have in power, of course they're going to want to have their hands or a part of that technology. And so you see all the wheeling, and then the corruption, Tyrone. It's pitiful. The IRS, the employees union, they're suing the DOJ because in law it says that the presidents, they had to be audited,
Right.
and now they're trying to stop the audits. And we remember that from the first administration, that he didn't want to be audited. And then you got Capital One. I posted that in the chat room, where they in Sarge, he said, well, Capital One did this. All those accounts, and they've been prosecuted on being afoul of the law when it comes to finances. And he's always been that way. And $2.2 billion in 2026, having companies buy into his whatever scheme, or Truth Social. And now Tyrone, I heard on a program that they're trying to cover the tracks of money. So you don't know where the money is coming from to do some of the things he wants to do, his private business. So he went from 430 million in 2024 to 2.2 billion.
That's
and then
crazy.
We got their monuments cost. Yeah. And no one says anything. So he sees that his base accepts that, and it'll just continue. And we've already seen with the Congress, even guys that are on their way out of office, still supporting it. Bill Cassidy. So, we, just like Jay said, we got to ride the storm out. But after we ride it out, what's left?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everything is so
Yeah.
corrupt, man. All these people are embedded in the damn system. It's gonna take a long time to undo all this rot.
And then you know what? Let's say the presidency, the parties change. That person, he or she, will be faced with monumental tasks, just like Obama. When right, and you're gonna have to cut programs.
Obama.
You got Social Security. Trump has already guaranteed that they're gonna get so much money. They want to fund the defense. So we a trillion. So they're just spending money like these say drunken sailors, and so that means that we're going to be printing money. So some of our programs can't get cut. We're going to start printing money, and you complain now about the cost of a hamburger meal, and so like you said, third world status. So
yeah, they ain't gonna be. There's no way to lower these
Yeah.
prices. There's no way to lower these prices.
They're not going back. They're not going back, bro. Some things might go back, but let's be real. Let's be real. Like if a can, let's just say a can of soda, which is the bottom of the totem pole. But let's just say people drink soda. A lot of people drink soda. A can that was 75 cents to $1 is now $1.50. It's not going back to no dollar.
Yeah.
Right? And that's on the bottom of the totem pole. The steaks, the meats, we talk about now because food is survival. Let's talk about juice.
Yeah.
They have their problems, and sometimes where the farming and all that. That there's this dry season, it doesn't happen. They have to invest more. Fruits die, whatever, all those things. But outside of that, we talking about whatever it costs when those things don't happen. It ain't going down. Tropicana's not bringing their shit down unless you're getting a sale during the weekend every other month or something. If they're not selling, but again,
it's capitalism. It's
Yeah. We just screwed, man. I don't. I know we got hope for the Democrats, but the Democrats ain't gonna turn this shit around.
Because you had that corporate money. It all started with Hillary. Remember when they sued Hillary, and then corporations are people, and then that money.
Yeah.
You can't trace the money. And I heard Bernie Sanders complain about when Abdul El Said, 30 million from AIPAC, and he says that the Democrats can control. And he's not a Democrat. He just caucused with him. He said they should cancel out that kind of money coming into their primaries, and they can control that. So that's part of what you're saying with the Democrats. They'll have rah and this and that. But
the Jews got so much goddamn money. I keep saying the Jews. The Zionists got so much damn money that they got Elon and Trump money. They could just throw money at shit and water the money that they throwing away is at these Democrat politicians to get them in their goddamn pocket.
but that's that corruption. And they said they're going to spend this time, I think, reported 60 million to make sure that he's not elected senator. They
Mm.
put up 30 million. That's when you're talking about how much money they got, and now they're going to come up with 60, and that's part of the issue. Oh, I saw something, Tyrone. Mitch McConnell,
He did.
and they rolled him out and everything, but they showed this is the power, how that money
Wait a minute. Wait a
works.
minute. I want you to slow down here. What you mean they rolled him out?
Well, no, he went. He left the hospital and wherever they have him, but he still didn't vote. So he's out of the hospital.
I want to see
And
this.
no, they had it filmed. There was a YouTuber. He went to where his residence was, and it was one of his staffers, and they won't talk to him. So they were watching the door, trying to talk to whomever comes out of there. And when the guy, what he said about this staffer. Now think about a Senate staffer. What kind of salary do you think what they earn, Tyrone?
They probably earn about 30, 40,000.
This guy was making $260,000
Oh
a
yeah,
year as
that's
his
some
Senate
bullshit.
staffer.
And I was being
So
generous with the 20 or 30.
no, it's 260,000. So would you want to keep Mitch alive? You
Oh
got that,
yeah.
and he's a lobbyist.
I'm looking
So
for this
you have these.
video. I'm looking for this video of Mitch McConnell. I don't see it, man.
Well, I saw something where he was in a wheelchair, something in the flash. I can't remember, but he's not in the hospital. He's in a residence,
Mitch
and they're
McConnell
still
dead as hell. Mitch McConnell dead.
he's not functioning. And something came up again, but you have $260,000. He's on Mitch McConnell's Senate staff, so you know that it's that money, and how do you beat the money? In these elections. So the Democrats are, and they fund, these corporations, they fund both sides. Whoever's got the winning horse, they get more money. So it's our system, but it doesn't look good for the American people. And then you think about how our military is being misused. I know you covered that. They said on the USS Lincoln, they've been on that ship since this past December, over 200 days. They said without going to port.
All right, East Coast. I'm calling bullshit on this sighting of Mitch McConnell.
Oh, okay.
Cause I can't
I,
see shit.
he's not. I saw something. How the news flashes, and his people are going to his residence. I don't know where the clip is or whatever, but I know he's not in the hospital anymore.
On August the 6th, NBC News
Yeah,
reported that Senator Mitch McConnell Thursday has been discharged from
yeah,
rehabilitation center and was recovering from a fall
right,
he suffered in June. So
right,
that's the same shit that they've been putting out. I don't know.
yeah,
I don't see no video
yeah.
now.
Well, I haven't seen the video either, but I did see, because how those YouTubers, they'll track you down to wherever you are, so
Well,
they're
yeah,
going
yeah. I
to
know there was this one lady standing outside of the building waiting
yeah
for him and stuff
his
like that.
house. Well,
So
yeah, right,
it
right.
must have been her that reported him.
Well, it could be a switcheroo, just like what the president did when he switched the planes.
Oh yeah, I see. They put him in a damn a food truck or some shit. They
Yeah,
stuffed his
so
ass
so
in a food
I'm not,
truck. Okay, so let
I'm
me.
just
I need to check these
yeah.
lines, man. Let me see. At
Okay,
least I got your
okay.
line open, and then I got an unknown caller. Who is this?
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
All right,
Good
Elisa, are
evening.
you there?
Yes, I'm here, Tyrone.
All right. You want to go first?
Yeah, I think what he was talking about, there was a video outside of Mitch's, I think he lives in a row house, one of the big row houses or whatever, in Capitol Hill. It was one of his staffers was going in, and it had been reported that he was released. They were delivering some type of recliner or something, but they didn't show them releasing him or anything like that. They just said it. And the staffer that's getting $220,000 on his staff, that's his head of staff that's getting that. The main guy, I think his name is Terry McCafferty or McCary or whatever. He's getting that kind of pay. Them little lower grunts that's running, ripping and running, they might make 30, start 35, 40,000. But his lead staffer, he's getting 200 and I think it's $225,000 a year. That's what he's earning. So he's getting the money and probably whatever else insider trading and other things that, he's involved in with with things that he get from Mitch, but that's his base pay. But them lower staffers, you were right,
And
Tyrone. They
Lisa,
get
he's a
paid.
lobbyist too. He's
So he
also
know
a
he getting paid,
lobbyist.
and he getting paid, so he's getting paid. But them lower
You're right.
staffers, Tyrone, you were right. They getting like 30 something. They don't get paid much because those are stepping stone jobs to other things that they might be able to do because that looks great on the resume if you want them junior staffers for, especially like a senator like Mitch McConnell. So, but Joe can go ahead. I'm gonna go get me something out of the refrigerator, something to drink. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, you gonna start cooking them turkey necks, Elisa? Go ahead,
Yeah, I'm
girl.
gonna
Cook
cook
them
some
turkey
turkey
necks.
next.
Yeah, I was gonna say to bridge on what EC was saying. The inevitable outcome of this is what's happening now with democratic socialism. People are tired. People are tired of the rampant corruption and the enriching of the powerful. Where's clean coal? Remember that? Remember Trump rode into office promising to bring coal back? Didn't happen, did it? Where's the health care plan? Didn't happen, did it? So all the things that he promised to help those people, those poor people that voted for him, did not come to fruition, is not even on the agenda. He hadn't even mentioned it or talked about it. So, basically, they've been hoodwinked and they starting to realize it. They starting to realize they've been, what was it, flim flam, bamboozled, and hoodwinked, and as they say, they didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock clearly landed on them. They were voting for a guy that they thought was for the people, found out he's for himself. And that leads to a revolution, inevitably. If you look at history, it always goes down that path. It repeats itself incessantly. So here we go. But the question becomes, what does that revolution look like in America? And I say it's not going to be a physical one like January 6th. It's going to be an economic and political one. And the people are going to start taking back power. They already are. And so, shout out to Brother K. He said that Mandami was going to convert to Sharia law. Yeah, he put out some garbage cans, big garbage cans to collect garbage. So there's your Sharia law for you, because them damn Muslims just don't like garbage. So I'll land it here.
Brother K is a damn zombie, just like Sarge and ABC, man. That is clear. But those people, all of those people are indoctrinated. Trump was lying since day one, and we've all said it here from beginning that Trump is telling a damn lie with all the promises, with the build the wall and all of these things. He just lie. He just lie. And these people, I don't know what it is that they can't say, yeah, Trump lied, but they would try to contort and make up excuses for what he said. Just like Brother K was talking about, there's no money being spent on the damn ballroom, and gave credentials that he worked for the goddamn government to prove his assertion. Bitch, Donald Trump worked for the government, and he's the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. Just because you work for the government don't give you any credibility. So it's one of these things to where he's putting his credentials on the line to try to validate what Donald Trump is saying is true. And this is how far these people will go. And the entire time they're looking like jackasses for agreeing with this guy. Donald Trump is a liar and a corrupt child trafficking pedophile, allegedly. These people, but they just let him keep getting away with it. Donald Trump has lied so much.
I think again, you just said it right there. The land getting away with it, and then those that are against it, there's a portion of those people. You want to call them our people, people that are against the BS, the what's going on, corruption in general, not trying to be biased. They say whether it's Democratic, whatever party, there's corruption, is messing with the people's money. They're not honest. It's one thing you enrich yourself, but take care of the people first. I think the people wouldn't care, but that's not the case.
No,
And
because
that just keeps on.
they so programmed in demonizing leftists and liberals and Democrats, they think that is a valid talking point against all of this corruption. So if you hold Sarge's feet to the fire, right, about Donald Trump's corruption, the first thing he does is bring up Barack Obama or Joe Biden or something a leftist has done instead of addressing the issue head on, and he just keep his fucking head stuck in that hole kissing Trump ass and not addressing what the corruption that Trump is committing.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. Look, this is the thing that kind of really blows my mind, about that kind of thinking. I asked Sarge one time, are you better off now, than when Biden was in office? And he claims he is. The problem with that is he claims he is. And what Trump has ushered in is this rampant individuality, meaning that I'm good, so everybody else, well, the hell with y'all. I'm good, so it's okay. And so what you got is that kind of mentality that permeates that party. They're not looking out for the least of them. They're not looking out for the poorest of them. I'm good, so it's okay. That kind of thing. Trump is robbing and stealing, but I'm good, so I'm gonna look the other way. I'm not gonna get involved. I'm not going to raise a stink because I'm good. And that's the sad part about, the Republican Party as it looks today, that I'm good, so I'm not worried about the other guy thing. And this is where the Democrats, at least traditionally, Democrats and Republicans, have gotten into battlegrounds because the Democrats are like, look, mostly, I'm looking out for the poor guy too. That could be my neighbor, that could be my cousin, my relative, whatever. But if he's hurting, then it's only a matter of time before I'm hurting too. So, until we change that that rugged individual mentality, then we're always going to be in this boat because there's always going to be the next guy, waiting to feed at the trough.
I agree, Joe. I agree with that.
Yep, but there ain't nothing you can do about those folks, man. It's just I just hope during the election, people show the fuck up to the polls and vote, man.
That's the thing. That's what you just brought me back on point. I kind of lost my thought. That's what I'm saying. Is a portion of, again, I don't want to say our people, but Democrats or people that are on the same mindset in the sense of seeing the obvious, right, and saying this is not good, but a lot of them don't go out and vote, or they're not voting where they need to vote. And part of it, obviously, they need motivation for those. Let's not make excuses. Okay, what is the symptom of the problem? How can we get these people out? Some of them are lazy. Some of them are disgusted with the system. They've been failed by the Democratic Party. Some of the people that they voted for, they're just saying they're all the same. How can you get that portion of people to come out and vote for the whatever candidate is going to really do something for this country in a positive way?
Well, I think they're falling short. I think they're falling short now.
Democratic Party is part of not motivating these people. They should be out in all events. Like I said, there's some small local politicians I ran into at events. They were there, but they need to have their people in more events. And when it gets cold, wherever the people are at, because when it's cold, the people ain't really outside in certain places. But guess what? Wherever they at, commuting, they need to make sure the average person that's commuting through the streets of whatever city, that they are getting the message out there and encouraging people to vote. And if you don't come out of your house, knock on doors, old school style. Internet, telephones, knocking on doors, going to events, showing up at the supermarket where people are and need to be. And for those that don't go nowhere, you better knock on their door. I'm just saying.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Getting the people out to vote, but I don't know. That's harder. It's okay. I just take on my own personal experience. I do my best, and I be fussing and trying to charge people up. You got to get out and vote. Even in my state of Maryland, where it's gonna be blue anyway, everything. But I still do. I can't. Like, you take like my nieces. I can't even get them to vote because they stupid. And they just don't give a damn. They live in tunnel vision into their own world, dressing, hair, clothes, and nails. That's all they see. So if I can't even get them to vote, you see how hard it is to get other people. Like when they talk about all the millions of people who didn't vote, millions, millions of people who didn't vote. I got people in my family that's in that number. That wasn't a damn thing wrong with them. They just care more about getting their hair and nails done. No matter what you say, they just and laugh because they're ignorant and stupid. So I'm to the point. Can we get these people to vote?
Well, see, it ain't your job. It ain't your job to get them out to vote, right? It's the politicians to reach those. It's the politician's job to reach those people that you can't reach, right? Because people close to us ain't gonna listen to what the hell we say. But if they got some type of messaging that will reach the people that go to the salons and get their nails done, and if there's some type of messaging that reaches them, that motivates them to get them out to vote, that's their job to figure out how all that works. And they're not doing it. Is my point. You know, this whole this social media thing, the right wing is killing the left on this social media thing, and they need to figure that out.
The game. They haven't mastered, and you said it. You know, okay, you could do what you could do, right? It's like the same thing for I got family members, the same thing. But you just said that what is it that will get them to go out to vote? You know, of what is it? You know, we can't say, oh, well, is it going to take where, you know, you will be in a state where you can't do your hair and you're living in third world conditions where all those luxuries go away and then people want to vote when it's too late? No, but it has to be put in the mindset that says you like to do all these beautiful things. They will take this shit away from you if you don't participate, whether it's your job or the politician. But the politician is not in these places, and they're not finding the formula to motivate this population of people within, if you want to say, voting Democratic or that would vote Democratic to get their ass up and get them to vote. Sometimes they try to do these parties, right, where they have events and stuff like that, and they get people to register. Where is the follow-up? It's great when you put a concert with Beyonce and everybody and their mother's going to show up, right? Okay, so now how do you get that, which a lot of them will vote Democratic, not only to sign up, to follow through when it's election time? There's not going to be a Beyonce concert the day of election.
Yeah, and I think they fall short. I think they fall short when they do that, when they put on these big old concerts with celebrities, because everybody don't like these celebrities. Everybody don't go to them. Everybody don't buy Beyonce records. So you got to reach those people that ain't even interested in that. Yeah.
You got right, and so that's why I say, you know, you got to tap into all these different people in that population that is saying, I'm tired of this shit. You know what I mean? And find a way. So for the ones that want the, you know, oh, well, there's a celebrity that'll get them to get out, then use that tool. But everybody's not like that. Everybody's not like that. So for those that are not, find what it is that can motivate them to come out and vote. I think that's fine.
Well, see, on the other side, how they reach down into the depths is that they use racism, they use the red pill, they use misogyny, they use all of these things.
They have all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then the Democrats, but I do agree with getting Megan Thee Stallion to put on a show. I agree with that. Because the people who stupid and dumb and numbskulls,
but that works.
They like Megan Thee Stallion.
They
get Beyonce and Taylor Swift and her crew. You have to do that. Because a lot of they people ain't thinking about nothing but the Taylor Swift and the Beyonce concert. And
Right,
I don't
right.
want to be this type of person that's of a certain age, like, yeah, people got to have outlets because I have mine. We all have our outlets.
Mhm.
But because they care nothing but the outlets, then you got to dig into the outlets. And the Trump and the right wingers and stuff, they were smart enough to get into the red pill,
Mhm.
that and because those people don't have any outlet except for tearing up women.
Yeah.
So then you put that, so they got that crew that way. So you have to try everything because ain't nothing you can do about the red pillars. And then you can do anything. A lot of them you cannot save or salvage that
Yeah,
because they
and
got them.
and the left wing aren't misogynists. They're not really red pill and all that kind of
So they
stuff.
can't relate to that.
So you got to figure out a way to reach these people. We got left wingers that are goth, that are into emo. We got left wingers that
Right.
are in all kinds of crazy people, artists. I don't know. You got to reach
They're
these
in
people.
Well,
all
they got
different
the
shit. You have Buddhists, you have motherfuckers that's
yeah, some of
atheists, you have
everybody.
a little bit of everything in every race and nationality on this in this country that are U.S. citizens, whether they second generation already born here, that understand that there needs to be change, and some of them need direction and don't know. They think everything is fine and dandy, and it's maybe just a lot of over exaggeration. Oh, the people, but they don't know where this could lead if it continues, right? So is that those people need to do their job and get the right people in there to be able to convince these people to go out and vote. We're not even talking about going and voting Democrat. We're talking about getting that portion of people to come out.
Yeah,
What are they
yeah.
voting
I
for?
thought that like climate change and green energy. I thought that stuff reached a lot of people, but it don't reach everybody. Um,
It doesn't reach enough people. Now you take like the red pillars, and nothing you could do with that. You have to feed them hate. That's how they get down. You feed them hate. So ain't nothing you can do with them. But thank goodness that's not the majority of men. That's a sect
Mhm.
of the male population.
right.
So if they gone, they gone. You can't do nothing about that. But the rest of them who would fall into red pill, that I still would like to have a girlfriend. You might could reach them, and if they start getting on the act right, then you can get them to be and stay on the act right. But those that's knee deep in it, you can't do nothing with that. You can't do nothing with that group. And the true hateful racist white people, so you could put them in the street, cut their granny throats, and do all kinds of things, kill all their kids. They don't care. So
Yeah.
you just have to just let that go. You
Well,
can't
no,
do
you ain't
nothing
gonna
with
reach
that.
them. You ain't gonna reach those people right
No, you're not
there.
gonna reach
As a
them,
matter
so
of
you
fact, you
don't
probably don't
concern
want to
yourself
reach
with
them.
that.
I wouldn't want to
No,
reach
I
them.
don't want them. No, you let them stay where they at. But I say the majority of people you can reach, they don't have to like your politics. They can still be homophobic, xenophobic, all the phobics, and all of the things. But they want a job and a roof over their head. You can get that person,
Well, see,
or they
that's
just
their
want to
area.
they want a girlfriend. You reach that person. They don't want to be online bitching and carrying on. They actually want a live breathing girlfriend. You can reach those types of sad types.
Well, that's where the
But
Democrats got strong points at is economics and infrastructure. I think that the
mm,
message can reach a lot of people. Let me see who this caller is. Who's this caller? Hello.
Oh, hi, Tyrone. This is Miss Lady.
Hey, what's up, Miss Lady?
hey, Miss
You,
Lady.
hi. I'm just going to circle back to the people that don't vote. And I'm going to tell you what really it hurts me is when I live in California, it's a progressive state. There are some good agencies in California. So, for instance, there's state disability. So, if you become ill, you're working, and the doctor takes you off work, you apply for state disability, and you'll get your state disability. Now, it might be a little slow in coming because of uh, not enough staff, but you'll get your check. And as well as say even workers' compensation benefits. A lot of states, especially those red states, it's very hard to understand that if you get injured on a job to get workers' comp, and if you get it, it's going to be for a very limited period of time. Whereas in California, you can have payments up to 2 years. And I heard in some states, no. So when these people, we wanted progressive, benefits for citizens of the state. And we voted in legislature that would do that. Okay, we voted. We did the work. And now you have these people coming from these red states, and because of religious reasons, oh, I don't vote. I.e., Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, why don't you go back to South Carolina, North Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama,
Mm.
and live there? Because now you're coming to this progressive state where people have put in work, they go to vote so that people can get benefits when they need them. And you're going to take advantage of that and you will apply and get the benefits. But oh no, I don't vote. That really pisses me off.
It pissed me off too. It pissed me
So
off.
that really pisses me off. And so, and taking advantage of everything. Oh, but because of religious reasons, I don't vote. That's just BS.
I agree with you. It's just to get these people out to vote. I can't get the stupid people that and I hate to call them stupid, but they are stupid. And I said they need to close down all them nail shops and all them things that they like to do and have their hair stick it up on their head and nails look like they were digging potatoes. And
Mm.
they're young and everything. They're finishing up their nursing school. Shut down all their school, cut out everything, and then maybe you might get their attention because they sure ain't listening to me or my brother.
No, and then another thing, they're limiting, like, feds now are limiting student loan money. And it's good that people won't go too much in the debt, but sometimes you have to, especially black people, you don't have a trust fund, you don't have grandpa that's going to pay for your education and your
Nope.
dorm and all that. So I was just reading that, they've made certain professions non-professional. And so at that point, they can limit how much loans that they'll provide students. And I was reading, like, said, what they're going to do is if you say, and I understand to a point, like, okay, you want to be a nail tech. Well, we're not going to give you they're going to look at what is the average amount of money a nail tech makes. So say if you make, say 30,000 a year, okay, you're not going to get any loan money over that. You're not. And so if your school charges 40,000, 35,000, oh well, you're not going to get it. Because they want to say, I think they're looking at 3 years out from graduation. What is the average income of, say, a nail tech or a nurse's aide or whatever? And if your profession does not if the amount of the loan money is less than the average income of that profession, they're not going to give you that loan. But one thing they talked about in the article was social workers. Now, the average social worker in a lot of states does not make a lot of money. It's a very needed job, and they know it. They know social workers are needed tremendously. But you can make money if you get a master's in social work. And I know people that got masters in social work that's making like 130, 150, 200,000, depending on who they working for and what they're doing. There, a lot of them they working for themselves, they're working for, hospitals or agencies. They're making big money. But in order to
Mhm.
get masters in social work, you got to get a bachelor's.
Mhm.
So, but they're going to prevent you from getting a student loan. They're not going to give you that student loan money to get your bachelor's, which is the first step. If your student loan is more than the average income of a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who needs a lot of social workers is a lot of social problems, social ill. So they're really clamping down. They're closed. They're pulling up the drawbridge. Is what they're doing, and they
Yep.
want to have especially a class of people who are uneducated, undereducated, who will be fired easily. Like I would never apply for a federal job. Um, I might do it in California, but I would be careful where in California I'd apply for one, because they have uh, terminated so many people, especially black people, from the federal jobs, and a lot of black people work for the federal government because private industry can be more difficult. So they're just shutting it down. The prices, like you said, it keeps going up. I got less than a full tank of gas at Costco a couple of days ago. It was $90.
$90. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep, it was about a little over 3/4 of a tank I filled up, and I put premium in there because I got to keep my old car going. And it's
What you
been
got?
doing
You got
fine.
an SUV?
No, I have a Lexus. It's an old one though, and
Well, that's kind of
listen,
yeah. That's high. That is high.
no, it's still rolling. It's still rolling.
Lexus
Oh,
is good. Those are good cars.
that
No, but
car
the
is
gas tank is about the
Toyota.
same size. I think it's about 13, 14 gallons for the gas tank. I think.
I think it's. Mm, I think it's about 16.
Well, either way, that was high. And the gas high. It's just
And
high.
I'm limited what I'm driving to. Okay, it's crazy now. The groceries are expensive, utilities are expensive, concerts are expensive, food, everything. It's crazy. And so, medical care is expensive, dental care is expensive. It's all expensive.
Well, all of this
So
stuff going on, they still won't turn on Trump. These people are in a cult.
I think
No, a lot of them had, but not all of them, Tyrone.
he's about to. They say he's at 34%. I don't know the polls. He'll always have a core group that I don't care what happens. They'll go down with the sinking ship. They don't care. They,
They
it's,
don't care.
they don't care. It's to their hatred and their anger and their insecurities under all of that and jealousies won't allow them to face the truth. So they'll just go down with the ship. I
Yeah,
think
they
5% of them are that way.
they stupid. Who's this unknown caller here?
And that's what I
Yo,
said.
yo, it's oh shit.
All right, let Miss Lady finish, and then you can go Big OC.
I said that this country was stupid and people got upset.
They are.
The Republicans will stop when they find somebody else to cheer for. They ain't got nobody else to cheer for right now.
So they
So they
have to
gotta
be
stay with
stupid.
Trump.
They have to continue to
Yep.
be stupid.
Because they still in the winning spot. He's still the president. So
Hmm.
that's what they always end up saying. Oh well, we still won. We still won, right? So who's next? Until that person steps out, it's all Trump.
But Trump ain't gonna let nobody outshine him.
And there you go. That's why somebody just needs to jump out there.
They ain't gonna do it.
Well,
This guy is showing
Another
how
tough-
weak white men are and how fucking
How America could get
scary.
suckered and scammed.
Yeah, there's no leadership on that side.
That's why a lot of people get scammed by regular, like, people that call them on the phone, those old scams that people used to get. Be like, tell us, they call them from the bank and shit, and people give their bank account information, or they call them from a credit card company, or they telling you they from the government and they need your social security, shit like that. I think this guy, he knows that these. He says, man, there's a portion of this country, and it's true. Unfortunately, they're stupid and ignorant. Some of them by their own means, and some of them is just their airheads. There's different categories of stupid, but I think that you have people out there. They know. It's like that's why it was easy to kind of, say, oh, I could get a portion of this country to, to believe my bullshit because I done been scamming them, with my businesses. I mean, when you can sell a person a box with nothing in it for thousands of dollars, I mean that's some shit right there. And you don't have to be skilled. They might have, you want to call it skills or not, but I'm just saying there's people that are foolish enough to spend. I mean, people buy art and all type of crazy shit and spend millions of dollars. I just seen some big gallery. What was it? They had like it was a auction. Somebody paid like what was it? $40 million. I think it was over $40 million. A Saudi Arabian man bought this picture. I don't know if it was not Mona Lisa, one of these people from back in the day. I said, "Are you kidding me? This is the type of shit people be doing when they got money." So imagine, if you could get somebody to buy a damn painting, of course, is worth money. But other people, we put the value on it, and people actually spend money on crazy shit. How many times this guy done got them? He didn't have to have them spend shit. Go and vote. It's free. Scam their ass.
Yep, that's what he does. And they
where he got him is on on the gold shoes, the books, the
there
Bitcoin.
You go, because that's
where he got him.
Yeah, that's true.
The
so
true
it wasn't
social,
free. It was he did benefit in other ways. You're right. He had products. He had products, merchandise to make money off of this shit.
The Bible.
He got his own Bible. He done turned religion. How all these religious people fell for that? Think about it. That's that shit with Arsenio Hall. Things that make you go,
But y'all do know Trump didn't come up with all this stuff on his own. He's not that smart.
He got people, yeah, of course.
He got these people, these oligarchs, these very rich people, these rich think tanks that these oligarchs, these people put together to help set this stuff up. He don't know how to do all this stuff on his own.
No,
y'all do know that.
Social media. It's any social media. When companies see, okay, you got a following, you got this many followers, you're gonna be the president. Oh yeah, we gonna this the package. We gonna do this and this and this and this. And
yeah, that's all it is. He's not coming up with this stuff on his own. He is not coming up with this stuff on his own. So it's other people, these rich people that are involved with doing this stuff. So I don't know, because just like that whole thing with that transferring. Now, when he tried, this is okay. I just switch it a little bit over to that mess that went on with the plane, right? This is just my thoughts on it, because discussing it with other people. I think that they were going to set that plane up, take it down out the air. But because when the Legacy plane showed up in Turkey, a lot of people, the press, the media over in Turkey, and our media, they was like, well, why is Legacy here? And he blew it by saying something that my 4-year-old nephew would not believe, that the troops that are stationed over in Britain want to see the Qatar plane. So that was one of the stupidest kindergartenist lie I had ever heard. That's what I think. I think they just go take that plane down with them people up on that plane, and then they could say, look at what they did to the Air Force One, and because the whole thing was how they put it together was just dumb, and it got out in like a month and a half. The entire truth of how stupid it looked, and I think they were going to do that because to get people on board with this war.
Elisa, I think Stephen Miller and Rubio was on that plane.
Rubio definitely was up on that.
And
And
I
I
think
think they was. I think they put that together. They was gonna take that plane out, but too many people started questioning when they showed up with the Air Force,
Oh yeah, yeah,
the Air
yeah.
Force One, the
A lot of
Legacy,
media.
and they
I,
couldn't go through with it. But they still had this big old grand press conference out there with him getting on the plane. So if we're not going to do it, maybe the Iranians will blow it down. And I think that was all a ploy, like the certain media is saying, a decoy for them to take that plane down out the air, and then to help, because look how the people rallied with around George Bush on 9/11. I just think that was all one big stunt to get people to rally around them with this war, the war that they lost,
Well,
and they couldn't go through with it.
now they saying Caroline Levitt quit because Donald Trump left her ass on the plane that was supposed to get attacked. That's what they saying.
So I believed it. I believe it, and then also if she quit when the midterms come and they get to opening up all these investigations, she could say I still work for him, not as a government employee, but as a personal advisor. So I get privileged to not be questioned. That's part of it too. But I think they was going. They set all them people up on that plane. They was. I think this is just my thoughts on it. This is not the thoughts of other people. I think Trump them set that thing up, take that plane, take legacy plane down themselves, and they quit.
I wouldn't put it past him because now there's a whole bunch of questions coming out about that attempted assassination on his ass. You know, people are really asking questions about what happened.
Yeah, and I think they blew it, but still hoping that the Iranians would take it down. And the Iranians are not that stupid. And now you see how quickly it got out. That whole plan was just stupid. How quickly it got out.
Hmm.
And now we know the switching into the food truck. That's what I think. I think they wanted that plane to get shot down so that they could get the American people on their side with this war. They get that money from Congress. That's just my own thoughts.
I wouldn't put it past
But
him.
it was such a juvenile plan. It was so juvenile. That's just my thoughts.
I wouldn't put nothing past that corrupt piece of crap.
So that's just my thoughts.
I like to see his fat ass stuffed in that food truck.
I would like to see that too.
They took
That
some
whole
damn
thing
pictures.
was just so juvenile because a lot of experts and stuff who with the Secret Service have worked with intelligence and stuff in the past. They said that none of that made sense. That they would sneak him out. That the legacy plane would have been just fine. But that sounds like something that somebody put together. Except, and then a lot of things I was hearing on Midas and different things like that. That Netanyahu was involved in that too. So I don't put nothing past him. Nothing.
Yep. Who's this unknown caller here?
Hey, it's me back again. You know, you triggered a thought there, Tyrone. Do you realize we know more about Lee Harvey Oswald and John Hinckley than we do about the first
shooter? Yeah.
the Trump's attempted assassination? You know, there's no news on that guy. You know, nothing came out after him. You know, that's
Nope.
really weird, don't you think?
Yeah, people asking questions now.
It's really funny. Yeah, it's really funny. And then, you know, the no scar on the ear and, you know, all of this mess. I mean, something just don't add up on it. And I'm not into conspiracy theories. I'll leave that to ABC, the resident expert in all things mysterious. But you know, it just seems odd that there's no real talk about any of these guys, any of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now maybe, you know, it'll come out in the wash, later
Well,
on.
because it's so weird because somebody actually died. So when you tie it all together, and if it was fake, then they was willing to kill people to pull this off. You know, that's the extreme you have to look at it at.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's real or fake. I'm just saying it's really suspicious that we hear almost
Exactly.
nothing about that. You know, yeah, highly, highly unusual for this news addictive country. And the other thing I want to say is there is an interesting thing. I was just thinking back. It wasn't until the 80s that wealth became celebrity. Prior to like the 80s, you didn't really see rich people on TV. You didn't really know their names. And so after
Lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah. Now, by virtue of having money, folks have become celebrities, and we focus on them as if they're our royalty, and that's the crazy part about most of these poor white Trump supporters, man. They look at wealth as celebrity. They're living lifestyles that they wish they could live, and they live through them. And so, they tend to think that these people, are American gods and can do no wrong. And that's the crazy part. I don't quite understand that.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking about that the other day. How the fuck the rich people become in charge of politics, man? That's just nuts. Like I know people that was in politics has always been kind of rich, but now it's like the oligarchy that's in charge. They just really running shit. And these poor people like Sarge and Brother K, they're really fascinated with the wealth of other people.
But that's what happens when you let capitalism run amok. And I remember I was saying that on a show not too long ago, and I don't want to say his name, but one of Sarge's friends, and he was like, "You're against capitalism. You're against." I said, "No, I'm not."
Well, I am. I'm against capitalism.
I am now. I am now. But I was like, no. I don't care if people make money and are rich. It's just that capitalism has run amok here, and it's taken over. And man, I got trash for that. I'm not saying everything need to be socialist. The government need to own everything. Everybody has everything is the same. Like what you call like Dr. Seuss, what is the little town where was it Whoville? Well, everything is all the same. I'm not saying we have to have that, but we have allowed capitalism to run amok. We really have, and that's why these other countries and stuff that has healthcare, that. People still work. People still earn great money. People are still celebrities, have money in the bank. But we have all time. You can have some millions, but want some people with these billions and billions and don't want to pay that. We have allowed capitalism to run amok. So I am against it. Yes, I am. I'm not saying strictly, totally socialist societies, but we've allowed
you can have a mixed economy. To where it's partially capitalism and partially helping people out. We, as a matter of fact, that's the way we live. That's the way we live now. Because Social Security program and all these programs that help people, that's a socialistic damn system, right? The Medicaid and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is socialist. But what we need to do is focus on these people that are getting extremely rich up under this system and tax them correctly, tax them like they did in the 1920s, and allow some of this money to flow back to the economy so it can get to the workers and we can give them a living wage and raise the income
fund the things that needs to be funded. That's my thing. Everybody pay their fair share. If you got 20 million over there, pay your fair share on that. As opposed to my whatever I'm paying, I pay my share. You pay your share.
Right.
That's how it should be with everybody, and that's what I was just trying to say. And if you still happen to have more than I do, cool, that's fine. I happen to have more than the person. Yeah, you can get rich. I don't care.
Like we don't care. Like everybody's not gonna be rich, but there should not be poor people. There should not be people starving. There should not be homelessness. Not everybody's going to have the $10 million mansion or the $1 million mansion. Just a decent place to live that's clean and also doesn't look like it's run down with maintenance. Giving people the basic shit, clean air, water, food, things that are just necessity, security, what people are paying for. We paying for this shit.
Exactly. Everybody, the families, everybody can take a vacation when it's time for you to get you a new car. You want to do this. You want to shop.
People could save money.
Could save money.
And
you could travel. travel, pay your bills. You could go to the dentist. Y'all realize what the dentist? I'm
Wow.
involved in that right now.
That's
The
expensive. It's
dentist.
expensive, yeah.
You can go to the hospital, get your things. Everybody is just living a comfortable life. You don't have people, somebody out here starving. Why Elon
Right.
Musk, goddamn, he's an American now, got damn near $1 trillion in the bank, and some people are starving and
More
can't
money
pay
than
their
people that were
light
born
bills.
here. And people that
Yes,
work harder than him, that bust their ass in this country for many years, and they just survive.
and he's sucking off the government shit through contracts and stuff. It's just some, and these corporations, your Walmart, your this, your that, all of them, Amazon, these people don't want to pay Uber, Jay Z, don't want to pay people a fair living wage that they can be comfortable when you get to your retirement age, be able to retire, get your Social Security, and get your the different things that you need so you can relax, play golf, take a vacation, have you a good running car, and things like that. That's not a lot to ask. And the average person, that's fine, that's good for them. But they don't even want you to have that. They want you to work till you're dead.
Well, there were regulations that actually controlled what we're talking about here. I forgot what it
But we
was.
don't have it anymore.
What was it?
Controlled
There,
capitalism. That's what we need. That's what I was saying. Child, I got
That's the
chewed
good.
out.
That's the best way.
there was a gay
Control capitalism.
congressman. I can't think of his name. He what was that dude name? He was a big fat gay congressman. He used to go on Keith Olbermann's show all the
With
time.
glasses.
Yeah. But they
Yeah,
had
I know
regulate.
the guy's name. I know
I think the regulation was named partly after him.
Right.
Something Stiegel. I can't remember what it was. But they used to have regulation to take care of that stuff. But now you got the oligarchs in charge. They got rid of all those regulations.
They got
That's
rid of all of it.
yeah.
All of it. And these companies, when y'all buy, did y'all know ice cream is no longer ice cream? These companies,
It's
but they, all your ice cream, Turkey
other
Hill,
chemicals.
Briar,
Bernie Frank. That's who he
yeah,
was.
yeah, him.
Bernie Frank.
But your ice cream and your chocolate, it's not even chocolate anymore. It's not. Ice cream is made out of shortening, and it's against the law. When you go buy your ice cream, all the ice cream you've been buying, read it. It says
How about
frozen
the
dairy.
fake food?
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
frozen dairy treats because they don't want to spend the money to put what? Cream because they don't want to use milk, so they make it out of shortening. And I'm not just talking about some ice cream. I'm talking about all the main ones: Turkey Hill, Briars, Friendlies, all the ice cream you've been buying. Read them because they got rid of all the regulations. Read them. It's against the law for them to put ice cream on it, so they have frozen dairy, frozen desserts. Your ice cream, your chocolate, none of that is that anymore.
Gotta buy Haagen-Dazs or Ben and Jerry's and just eat.
That's ice cream. That's ice cream.
Yeah.
But the ones that we've been buying, Briars, Friendlies, Turkey Hill, it's not ice cream anymore. And people found that out during COVID when the ice cream wouldn't melt.
The ice cream wouldn't melt.
You don't remember that when we were home on
Well, I'm
we were
not a
all
big
in the
ice
house.
cream eater, so I didn't know nothing about
When
that.
we was home during quarantine, people had nothing else to do, and they was buying ice cream and stuff out of Walmart, and they bought the ice cream and the ice cream sandwiches and put them over in the sink. Somebody had forgot to put the box out, and they was like, it didn't melt, and that's when it got on my radar.
That's
Then
crazy.
I started checking, Google it. Ice cream is not ice cream anymore. Chocolate candy, they're not using the cocoa beans. None of that stuff. Because it's cheaper to make it out of large fat.
That is crazy.
Before it was so nasty and full of chemicals, I spit it out and threw it away. Don't buy that junk. It's not real chocolate. It's just a mess.
It's not real chocolate, ice cream, none of that. And people don't even know it. They don't even know how we've been bamboozled by these companies and stuff. They're just doing cheap stuff to get it in, to get it out. And
Well,
there's
what you
no
got-
regulation.
What you got is that people that are growing up in this era ain't gonna know any difference, so they still gonna have a market because these people gonna buy it anyway.
They'll buy it anyway.
Yeah.
And but they had that Tyson chicken. It was something about how those chickens are raised, and all of it filled up with steroids, and and all kind of hormones and stuff, and the way it's processed. Don't buy Foster Farms, Tyson, and all them fast food places you go get your chicken from. They have Tyson chickens, and don't buy Purdue. They said get Mary's air chilled chicken. There was like four that was recommended. Three I didn't recognize.
Mm.
It's all messed now. It's a mess.
It's all messed up. It's just like that thing that broke out. And they said from the lettuce and things like that. And I forget which company, and they had given Trump a donation.
I think it was called Taylor something.
Taylor Farms, yeah. And it was them. It was their farm because they not regulated, and the department and the CDC and things like that. They used to regulate, and keep their eye on that stuff. They got rid of all of that.
And kids, people are breaking out with measles because of the.
Oh yeah, South Carolina. South Carolina is the number one state raging with measles.
See, that's crazy. That is crazy. There ought to be a way to hold the government accountable for that mess, but I guess there's not.
There's so many people talking about getting up out of here. They have moved. They want to move. They say those immigration businesses, attorneys, they're getting all kind of business now. For the past year, it's like been exodus. For those that can.
Those that can, that's right. Those that can.
Now, it was easy, say, to get a citizenship. If you want to get it in another country or get permanent residency, they're making it harder. They don't be fleeing here. For real. Yeah, it's going down.
Well, just like the caller called in and said, we're in the twilight. America is in its twilight now. As because the same way you look at Europe, Britain, and stuff like that, they being no longer the dominant. So if we're in our twilight now, because capitalism has eaten it away, and now when it all falls, there's just pick the bones.
And it didn't take long.
It didn't take long.
I don't think till like the 80s. And then it accelerated like in 2000. And like in 26 years, this is where we at.
I guess we lived. I guess we lived in the best times.
The country's only about what 350 years old. England been there for centuries.
Yeah, I guess we lived in the best time that they to live because the housing prices was affordable, the minimum wage was keeping up with the economy. They say now a price of beef is higher than the minimum wage. That is crazy.
It is. It is.
You mentioned 2000. 2000.
We did live. We grew up when America. We did. Our generation, Gen X, and the older millennials. They had it when and now everything is on the decline, and these oligarchs are ready to pick his bones.
Well, I appreciate being able to live like that, shit.
Me too. I appreciate it big time. I appreciate being able to. We did live. I'm not gonna say during its golden years, because, well, in a sense, when we were kids, we came up through that.
Well, you can afford stuff.
A house.
You can afford a car.
You could go to
a house.
College,
yeah.
A house, and different things. That's why they say all of the wealth really is with the boomers. Gen X has some.
We'll be like Cuba and Haiti.
No, I think it would be on the line of something like how Britain is now, something like that.
Well, you said something in 2000, and I think Miss Lady said that. 2000 actually was when they put the euro in play.
Mm-hmm.
That changed a lot. It actually messed up some of the countries within where they had to make changes, and it messed up people within their own country where there was like the have and have-nots, because some of the euro, when it came into all the countries that agreed to it, which was in 2000, they end up their currency was worth more than what they could get with the euro. So once they exchanged that money into euros, it was less, and you could only buy things, that was more expensive than what you had when you was dealing with that country's specific money, because they had their own economy running. So they went through their transition, but also that also pushed a little bit to the U.S. because if you look at the euro is worth more than the dollar. The pound, the English pound, is worth more than the dollar. You could buy, again, we said about a soda. If you get a can of soda, which is universal, we know, maybe let's just say it's $1. Over there, you're paying $2. So your dollar is, you got to have $2 for their 1 pound. And it might not even cost a pound. It might cost 2 pounds, which means that's $4.
Mm-hmm.
Their money at one point was double. Right now, I think it's $1.50 to their euro. To their pound, and then maybe it varies, 130, 125 to the euro.
Yeah, because when I was in Germany, when I was in Germany, that's about the time that they bought the euro in, and the dollar's value was higher than the euro or the what do they call that money? Dutch. What I forgot what they call it. But the value of the dollar was higher. But now it's done flipped around to where and the dollar value was higher than the British pound and all of that stuff back then. But now it's not. The dollar has declined.
That was when she mentioned 2000. That just brought me back to that.
Mm-hmm.
She said that there's been a decline since 2000, and also you could add that up to the war. Where we was talking about, how much money was spent on the war. Whatever price they said it was worth, it cost, but we don't even know the deeper end of all that. There was a lot of money. They had to pay out a lot of people that died.
Right.
From both sides. And then there was people that stole money. There was cash, American cash that they found Saddam Hussein with, and money in the sons and all that they had stashed. And some of that money disappeared. They reported on that. They didn't have an answer to it. That's crazy. So there's so much money was spent on, rockets, manpower, all the different things that was there. To what? We gave, and then Afghanistan at the same time, a couple of years later, is crazy. And so I think that's when she says, Miss Lady says 2000 to 2026 up to date. We've been affected by that war. And also that euro that came into play that took a couple of years to make the dollar less than the euro and the British pound. And let's not forget, Switzerland has their own currency. They don't have a euro or a British pound. They got their own money. And that shit is it stays high as well.
Yep, these guys just they fucked up our country, they fucking up our economy, and yet and still these motherfuckers still supporting this fucking idiot.
Well, you're gonna have that. And I don't concern myself with those that still support him. I really don't. Because you're gonna have people everybody is not going to support him.
Well, the problem that once you get the people turned against you, it is easier to hold you accountable. It is easier to do stuff like impeach you and all that kind of stuff. As long as you got people supporting Donald Trump, they're not going to impeach him. They're not going to hold him accountable. They're going to try to justify all his illegal actions. People need to actually.
That's true.
People need to actually.
But the majority of the people no longer support him. That's the thing, Tyrone.
Well, I'm trying to say enough people need to turn against him so we can hold him accountable, so he can stop doing all this illegal crap and actually see some accountability from this guy, but it's not going to happen.
They have, though.
There's nothing.
I just can't be. You just a Debbie Downer like you. I just can't. I cannot.
Well, I'm just speaking the truth. This guy has not been held accountable for nothing that he's done, even when it comes to violating the Constitution. And a prime example is the 14th Amendment. The Supreme Court just told that man he cannot get rid of birthright citizenship, and he just recently turned around and wrote an executive order going against the 14th Amendment. So there's no accountability with this guy.
But that don't mean that what this executive order is going to take, Tyrone.
Well,
Right?
what the dangers of his executive order is some people are going to implement it because it comes from the president. You get what I'm saying? And then they're gonna be
Okay, well,
justified. They're gonna be justified and say, look, this come from Washington. So if you have a baby here, then that's an illegal baby. He's not a citizen, and all that kind of stuff. It's gonna be a court fight, and it's unnecessary because the Supreme Court already made a decision.
Well, then it's over then. It's over.
I think there's not enough numbers. Again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that even in the Republican Party, those that push back, there's a few that push back for certain things, right? And they're like, nah, because he's going overboard in their mind, right? They like all the other stuff he's doing, but some things that he's doing now, it's like, oh, whoa, it's messing with their shit. So there is, but I don't think there's just enough numbers. And then it goes back to the Democrat. It ain't gonna be the Republicans that's gonna make shit happen. It's gonna be, others, and I would just say that, they need to get those people on deck. So we need people that need to be in office that's gonna be able to do what you just said. But you need the numbers. I don't know how many numbers you need. I always say that. How many numbers do you need to get this passed? How many numbers you need to do the impeachment, to convict? All those things matter, and you need the numbers. Numbers.
Yep. So.
Well, I mean, according to Tyrone, it's done. It's done. It's over. And I'm not willing to say when they do the polling, when you hear, because there's some things he's so far underwater, and nobody has been this far underwater ever. They're not polling Democrats, Tyrone. You know that. They talking about his people.
Well, I'm gonna tell you my opinion on polls. I gave up on polls during, was it his first election? I kind of softened my stance on polls during the first election, but this last election, these polls they didn't tell me shit. And I get why people saying that they reading the polls. That's like a political habit that they do. But the way Trump administration been moving, those polls really ain't affecting those people.
It's just you don't know. Okay, well, it's over then. Debbie Downer, it's done. It's over.
I ain't no downer. I'm just saying the truth.
Yes,
At least
you are, Tyrone.
I mean,
are.
the truth sucks. And it is what it is. These people, they actually in charge and they're running things and they're.
It's over. It's over then. Why we talk about this? Why we talk about it? What's up with Nas and Jay-Z now? But it's just they're talking about this.
There's pushback. It's just gonna take some time. Again, we need the numbers. You see the reason why, again, Tyler, you seeing that there's no progress because the numbers ain't there to change the progress. At least that you.
Well, he's taking over the media outlets. He actually. He's actually in the middle of a war that is illegal, unconstitutional, and as he put these people up there to be approved to his cabinet, these people are not admitting that he lost the 2020 election. These people are corrupt, and it's just a whole ball of corruption that is stressing the institution, and it's just all corrupt. It just is. I mean, I don't know if you looked at this last guy's the Attorney General hearing, but I mean that was all bullshit. It's just a pony show. It's just, I don't know. All these people. I like I said, I cut my grass and I try to lose my little.
What gives
I lose my weight.
confidence?
Okay, it's over then.
Confidence. No. Well, what gives this president the confidence to do what he does? Is the people. Is the people that are allowing him to do it. And there's a certain amount of numbers of people that are allowing him to do what he does, so he does it. I think that's
What do you
the
mean
problem.
by that?
Those people,
Remember, he has
whatever you see that you don't agree that he's doing, which could be 99% of the things, right?
Right.
Saying, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. It's a long list to name things. I'm just saying, whatever he's doing that's illegal, let's just say, or
Right.
unconstitutional or not right, he is confident enough to do those things because he has the numbers to back him up when he moves forward.
I don't think that he have the numbers. I just don't think that he gives a crap. Once he won that office,
numbers to go away, they could push back. Even if he does something, isn't there something to stop him that
no.
stop
Well, see, that's when you bring the poll conversation in, right?
Right.
If he cared about the people and he was looking at those polls that are so negative for him, he would change his actions. That's what the normal politicians would do. But he see these polls just like.
Care about the people.
That's what I'm saying.
Those people that's putting up the money behind.
Oh, you talking about the people that support him?
No, the people that's pulling the strings.
Right, the people in power, whether they in government or not in government. So it could be corporate motherfuckers that's there. They got way more money than him, and also the politicians.
Huh.
It's not him. Trump don't even probably know what day it is. That's what I keep saying. Yo, stop giving him more. You're giving him too much power. That man don't even know what. Too much credit. He doesn't even know what day it is. It's the corporations, the power, the oligarchs. And then you have the people that's in office that are scared or wanted to be this way. It's not him. Long as he can change a new art piece or paint something in the White House and golf, he's satisfied. That man don't know what's going on.
Well,
stop giving him. He's given too much credit. He does not know what's going on. His brain is just about mush, and I don't even see him making it through. Well, I'm not going to talk that because of Google.
Well, I hope that day comes. I hope that day comes soon.
But even if it does.
Even around stuff that's happening, somebody put it in his ear. Who put it in his ear?
Somebody else is pulling the strings on that. He don't know what's going on. Stop giving that man all this credit that Trump is this, Trump is that. Trump don't know what he's doing. People are telling him what to do, and he said yes. And that's why they put his name back on the Kennedy Center, because he's interested in stuff like that.
Well, is that a thing now? They trying to get it back up there?
Yeah, the Kennedy Center people, the board on the Kennedy Center vote to put his name back on there. So
that's his board.
Another round of court cases and stuff, because that's the kind of stuff he care about. He care about getting his money on the $100 bill. He around here all the bronze statues all around the city. He wants to put them all, inflate them in bronze and brass and things like that. Play golf. That's what he cares about. But then to tell him what his bank account, he does not know what's going on. It's not chump. He does not know what's going on. It's these people that want to pick the bones from the country that's doing this. Not him.
All right.
Not him.
All right, Mama's boy, I got your line open.
All he wants is his piece of the pie. As long as he can get what you just said and get some money out of it, because everything is about money. So he wants deals, he wants a piece of it. And
he wants a piece of it because he remembers that to do that from his business days, and to be able to paint and because you hear when things is going on, he's talking about how he's changing the White House, some draperies. He wants people. That's what he cares about.
He design a credit.
Yeah, that's what he wants. He doesn't know. We stop giving him this credit. The man don't know what's going on. It's the people behind him that's doing this, not him. Trump don't have a clue about what's going on. My 4-year-old nephew know about, because that's why they had to foil that plan. Because he said, the military that's stationed in Britain want to see my new plane. You couldn't come up with a better idea than that? No, he couldn't. And that's why they had to do something else. He doesn't know what he's doing. And when he's talking, he's mispronouncing words. He can't keep up. And when he was trying to, when he like that man, he back on trying to put that the limpest canoeist Trump is back in prison.
Well,
Back trying to get him indicted. And when did Trump said, well, they got pictures of what do you call it? What do you call it? The moving pictures. They have moving, yeah. They have moving pictures of him cutting it. Trump does not know what's going on.
Well, he might not know what's going on, but he got all these damn gas prices high. He got grocery prices high. I don't know who got them high, but somebody,
no, he doesn't.
somebody got all these damn prices high as fuck. They got us in a goddamn war that we getting ready to, that we lost. But Mama's boy, I got your line open. You there?
Well, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Word on the street is his new think tank that's cleaning him up is in his ear.
Mm-hmm. It's in his ear too. They got her telling and feeding him information.
You know, Carolyn Levitt is gone. You know, Carolyn Levitt done took her hiatus. Word on the street is that Trump kind of maybe had something to do with that. He was bugging the shit out of her when she was on paternity leave.
No, they said that she left because Trump left her ass on that plane when he got on that food cart.
Ooh.
He didn't bring Carolyn Levitt. He didn't bring her.
He left everybody except that girl, Pete Hegseth,
yeah, he carried
3 other motherfuckers.
He carried that one girl, but left Levitt, and that kind of pissed Levitt off. And they was reporting. They was reporting out there that they heard a yelling match between Trump and Levitt in the Oval Office. Now I don't know what was said, but
they say this new girl.
They got a video of her telling the girl off. You pull it up, and she got her finger all in the girl's face. They got a mess going on.
So
word on the street is that she really, 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 really likes Trump.
Well,
and she don't mind wiping his dirty butt.
Well, that's disgusting.
And carrying his diapers.
That is disgusting. And then somebody did a compilation of Donald Trump sitting in these little meetings that he have, and then people standing behind him. He makes an action either where he shits on himself or passes gas, and people start holding their nose.
I've seen that.
They hold their nose, they turn their face, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this man really must be pooping on himself in front of
people. That one dude to the right of him looked at the camera. Looked right at the camera like, I wish you only knew what I was going through.
So yeah, I don't know who this new girl is, but she must be taking over and doing things for Donald Trump.
But she's young. They got her there, and they have another new one there with dark hair. And when he fall asleep, and it's a video, and people was playing it. When he kept falling asleep at one of his meetings, whenever she tapped her stomach, standing behind him, she has on a long dark wig. Mm-hmm. And when she tapped her stomach, he jar up. And then they saw her, and she tapped her stomach. They said she's in one of the meetings that he had this week. And she's standing, if you're watching the video, she's standing on to the right, she has long brunette hair, and her hand is on her stomach, and she's looking around. And the moment Trump falls asleep, she pats her stomach, and then he wakes up. They said it must be some kind of something they have up under her clothes to like send a jar, a shock to the chair to wake him up.
Weekend and Bernie.
We watching all this in real.
Seen that?
No, I ain't seen it. But we watching all this in real time. But I can't believe all of that bullshit they said about Joe Biden, and he was old, but Joe Biden was nowhere near.
Not like that.
Joe Biden was boring.
Yeah, he was boring, and he was old, but he was still able to manage. He was still able to manage.
Yeah, he did his job. That's what it was. He wasn't making a spectacle of everything and making a show and wanted to be on TV for this and that. You know, he didn't want to be on TV if it was up to him. You know, you could see
up to him. Yeah, he didn't want to be.
But you know, I mean, he did what he did, and this guy's acting way worse than him.
Yeah, way worse than Joe Biden, falling asleep where everybody can see him.
He can't stay awake. And all the he does not, and his brain is gone. When he was trying to say they have a clip of such and such, he couldn't think of what they call it. He called it moving pictures. Y'all don't know what's going on.
Mm.
That's crazy.
Let's stop giving him all this credit. He don't know about this. He don't know about all that. It's the people behind him trying to get him to do as much things as they want him to do so they can position themselves for the hostile these companies and oligarchs. That's what's going on. They got a hold of it. And they finally got a president that would let them do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, long as he can remember enough, as long as I get a piece with my bank account. And they got her just sending that man notes about how she loves him, and
Yeah, I think the Russians got him.
They got the pretty women standing up around him. You ain't seen the one with that woman with the dog hair. Every time she tap her stomach, then Trump wake up, and it's something up under her clothes that's connected to that chair to do a little shock and make him wake up. I was like, I thought people were joking until I saw the video.
Yeah, I think them Russians done got to him finally. They finally made it to the Oval Office.
They all up in there, and then you got Yahoo and all them up in there. And you got these rich people, oligarchs, these people trying to hear. He all messing up. I don't know what's going on. Long as they let him do art projects. And he want his name back on that Kennedy. That's all he care about. He does not know what's going on.
Him about anything else while he's playing golf too. All right. He don't want to hear no shit about there's war or people dying. He let him.
You don't want to hear about that
game and just chill.
Man, all Trump want to do on the golf course is say, "Hey, there's another assassin."
I got one.
Secret Service, there's another assassin. That's all Trump want to do on the golf course.
And they got him a precedent that's letting them do it. You ask him about, because some of that stuff, when they was like, well, you pardoned such and such, I don't know nothing about it. I believe him. You pardoned that one that helped him get them his sons and stuff with them with crypto, this, that, and they pardoned that man who's supposed to be in prison for life. And then the next thing you know, they was doing that, and he was like, I don't know nothing about that. He doesn't.
Do y'all think
he doesn't?
Do y'all think he gonna pardon them Tate brothers?
Probably not. But he can't pardon them. We ain't got no charges against them. But is he going to interfere and stop the extradition? Probably not.
You know, I'm thinking more not than likely, but I wouldn't put it past him. You know,
I don't think so.
I'm waiting for the news to say Trump stopped the extradition of the Tates. Oh, okay, well that ain't
because if they don't have anything really on him, and that man, the one who Trump had to who did interfere, the one whose wife and stuff out here threatening Melania. If the Chase and them don't have, because their lawyer tried to subtly threaten Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
Y'all saw that, did you? Now, if they don't have anything substantial to bargain with Trump, they just as good as gone.
But I'm kind of wanting them to be extradited because I think those boys are low enough to where they will start telling stuff on the Trump family. You know, I don't think they got nothing to tell. Well, they used to hang out with they used to hang out with Donald Trump Jr. and Barron, so they got some information.
They ain't got nothing on them. Because if they had something in them, they never would have been put in. They never would have pulled them in and have them up in solitary confinement, waiting for extradition.
Well, no, there
was a lot of bravado. He was like, "Yeah, I know them. I was supposed to hang out." That was just a lot of bravado.
No, they had the Tates one time, and Trump did step in and get them out. That he already did that once.
That guy whose ex-wife is out here harassing Melania, he did. He stepped in. But if the Tate brothers they don't have nothing on Trump now. Right. That's why they out there saying they don't have anything.
I want to see if they live up to their threats, cause they said they had something. I want to see if they
They
spill
ain't
some
got
beans.
nothing on them. A lot of that is bravado. They don't have anything. Yeah. All that stuff he said when he was talking about, yeah, I'm Don Jr. and this that Don Jr. was like, well, hey, come visit me when you come to such and such sunset. It was that type of conversation. And Barron used to listen to that old red pill stuff that they was talking. Does Trump have anything on them? No. I
Well,
mean, the Playboy, they ain't got nothing on them.
well, they should have been gone then. Why they holding on to them? They should be in the UK. They need to go ahead and ship them out.
Well, that type of stuff take a while for it to work out, but there ain't nothing. They will be extradited. I do believe that. Trump and them is finished with that.
Can I throw something on the table?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Did y'all know Kushner's brother bought the Lakers? $12 billion.
He bought them.
They need to
Really?
just stay the fuck out of shit, man. All these rich people buying up, they fucking up the damn streaming services. They fucking up TV services. Now they getting into sports. They just need to go, man.
The sale is under investigation.
Well, we're through anyway, Tyrone, so what difference it make?
Well, I'm just saying, because they buying up all this shit, people ain't got the freedom to act like they would just naturally act. Now they got to watch what they say and all this kind of bullshit.
Mm-hmm. I'm just happy that I grew up during a different time.
Yeah, I think we grew up during the best times. I mean, the 1920s was good for white people. But during our time growing up, I mean, everybody was kind of able to afford stuff, and it was better.
The 80s, the 90s, the early 2010s. I'm glad I came along during a different time than what's going on here. And AI about to kill. If the bubble don't fall out of AI, that's about to kill everybody's job. So.
Yeah, and people need to be careful with them flock cameras. I don't know. I know they paint it as a good picture, but being able to facially recognize everybody and track everybody, that can't be good, man.
It's not gonna be good. But like I heard y'all was saying earlier, Tyrone, that certain people used to fuss about that. The Democrats, they gonna do this and they gonna have it. It was always the Republicans, the type of people, was always them that wanted to do it. They just put it in everybody's head until they eventually get into power, and they're the ones that was always going to do that. That's
that the right used to argue about the deep state and government surveillance and all of that kind of stuff. They was opposed to that. ABC used to rant on that all the damn time, saying that the Democrats was going to do this and do that.
When the Republicans and them oligarchs and them people that they dealing with, they were always the deep state.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. And that's exactly what these data centers are. The data centers are there to power all of this surveillance stuff, right? And you know, and you know, on the surface, I get it, because it's all about making money for them. Just like when I got this, I got this Alexa thing here. I got all my Alexas hooked up, right? And my cell phone, but they monitoring our conversations. And whenever I talk about something specifically, next thing you know, I'm getting TV ads about it and all this kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
So that's marketing.
Yeah.
But because they got that type of technology, they can do whatever the hell they want to do with that technology.
Yeah.
And they're selling information. That's another thing. So they're
That's what Elon Musk and Doge did. When Elon Musk and Doge went into the White House, they went and got a whole bunch of information, people's addresses, social security, so they can market to those people. And then if you notice now, you're getting advertisement for medical coverage. You're probably getting advertisement for pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
You're getting advertisements for a whole bunch of shit that we didn't used to get advertisement for. And it is that's Doge.
But you know what? It really hit me that how these people were really surveilling. Used to hear about it. Used to hear Alex Jones and different people. They doing when COVID hit. And after that, after COVID, I was watching a little thing about it on, I think it was Dateline. Yeah, it was Dateline, 48 Hours, one of them. It was Dateline. And they were saying how it spread over throughout the world from China. And I was like, well, how can, because I remember the Chinese, they held over the Chinese New Year. They held it over a little longer. And Dateline and put up these big screens. They said, and then when the people left from the Chinese New Year, they went to all parts of the world. Well, from wherever they came from, because Chinese said it was all over the place. And they had like a computer screen when they left from the airports and things in China. And they showed how many people went out to the U.S., how many people went here. There are a lot of them in Italy. It went there, went there. And do you know how they was able to track it? Cell phone. I was like,
well, yeah, our cell phones is compromising us.
And I was like, wow, look how they check all the people. And what was that Trump, that old man, that mess they had up there at the Capitol building? What was that? January 6th. January 6th. And they caught them people before they got off their flight.
Yeah, and during that hearing,
when they went back home through their cell phone, I was like, oh my God. Look how they caught them people. They hopped on, and some of them they hopped on their planes, and they had the people there to arrest their ass at the airport or when their planes landed, where they was going. And some of us watched it, and they put up a screen, and they were monitoring them. They gathered up all that cell phone information that was out there on the Capitol that day, and they put it out on a thing. The cell phone services went along with it.
Yep.
And they was like, okay, there's some here, there's 10 here, get them there. It was like, wow.
Yeah, people just being stupid now, just using these cell phones to say and do anything on them. And if you ever get in trouble, that's the first thing that they're gonna do is collect your data from your cell phone.
It's your cell phone. And see, we know that as far as like criminality, people try to do something, leave cell phone at home. But it was like how they went to the cell phone companies and gathered up, and they didn't even hold back. And they gathered up all the cell phones that were out on the Capitol that day, and they watched them people where they went. And they saw them get on this plane, that plane, this train, that train, and start picking them up. Wow. Oh, that's something. And I would love to see what it looked like 100 years, because it's not going to slow down. I would like to see what it looked like 100 years from now.
I think if the right people start governing, then this thing could turn into a positive, right? If people, it could. But if people like who's in charge now stay in charge, we gonna be in a damn mess. We gonna be in a mess.
I just love to see how it looks 100 years from now. You won't be able to blink.
Well, no, because all of these TVs, all of these devices that they're making smart, your doorbells, all of that shit,
and sunglasses and all kind of stuff. It's just, I would like to see what it look like 100 years from now. People won't be able to sneak. The government, this person over here sneaks. They be all up in your house. They're already in your house because of your cell phone. But people can't.
The refrigerator, all this smart.
Yeah, I use
microwave.
I use my Alexa to death, and I know that motherfucker just listening to everything that's going on up in here.
I use Alexa, and I use Alexa, and I use Siri more than Alexa. I use Siri to death. Because down if you could switch the voices, my Siri is up. You can pick the voices that you want. And I picked a black woman, so they have a black woman voice. But Siri, I don't know how Alexa. I don't think so.
Well, you can change you can change voices. And I got mine as a male voice in here.
My Alexa voice is whatever it was when they sent it.
They giving you whatever.
Yeah, they give it to you.
You know, my son that sound like me, my people, this, that, the other. And
and that's what I changed my Siri to. I'm like, hey Siri, such and such, such. yeah, okay, and Siri answer it, and I go, thank you, not a problem. And I'd be like, oh shit, the first day they had my, excuse my language, I'm like, oh my God. Because
Yeah,
I
I
wasn't
mean,
really,
it's
I
handy.
wasn't even really talking to Siri, but I was like, hey Siri, when I knew I had changed the voice, could you look up such, could you tell me such, 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 and she answered it. And I just how you normally do, because how he was raised, I go, thank you. And then it answered me back that they shocked me. You can say things like, and see, a reminder. Yeah, stop, Siri. Okay, okay, Siri, stop. Your head started
Yeah,
talking.
mine started talking too, but
And I
they
was
listening.
like, but when they answer you back, and I just like I was talking to a person, I said, oh, thank you. And she was like, not a problem. That thing scared the natural, and I went straight and picked up my tablet and Googled something, and they said, yeah, with the later models and stuff, Siri answer you back.
Yeah, I enjoy it,
Not
to
a
be honest with you.
problem.
But what
Huh?
really needs to happen with this technology, and y'all know ain't been on this for a while, but all them goddamn Christians that believe in that bullshit need to go ahead and ask these devices about they book.
About it.
They'll give them the answer. They'll give
Yeah.
them everything that I've been trying to tell them. It's right there.
But you know what? I saw some videos where some people have asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT break that thing down that
Yeah,
the average person, they would throw all their devices out the window if they was to hear how. Have you seen those and how it break all that stuff down about Jesus, about religion? They break it all down and basically tell you it's crap.
yeah. I mean, and I know people got to have stuff to listen to and believe in and all that kind of
You
stuff. I
got right.
realize that now, but if they just go ahead and use their brain and just ask this AI, Chat GPT or Siri or whatever, they'll get the answers, and then they can take that response and treat it however they want to. But they can't sit up here and do like somebody like Black Jesus would do. Oh, that's false. They don't know what they talking about and all that kind of stuff and discount it.
But
But
Tyrone, I'm happy that you realized because I think I used to get on you. What made you realize that some people need that? Because I used to get on. I used to have something to say about it.
well,
Because you used to be hard.
but yeah, I kind of still believe it, but at the same time, I see people and they functioning in that world, and that's what holds them together. That's
Yeah,
without that, they'll be lost.
I don't know.
I'm not saying that they'll become violent or nothing like that, but
No,
that's
no.
really the thing that's holding them together. And
Because you used to be hard on that. And I used to go, but Tyrone,
well,
it's going
I
to be a
mean,
bad to be.
I still kind of feel that. I still kind of feel that
I
way,
know you do.
but
But when you started saying, well, I get it now. And I was so happy to hear that because I didn't think you would ever. You used
but
to be hard. I didn't think you
well,
would
I
ever.
just accept that we walking around in a world full of fools. There ain't nothing I can do about that. There ain't nothing I can do about it.
No, so don't be so hard on it. And that was my whole thing because people they need a little bit of that. And some people, and if it's in that case, I don't have a problem with it.
Well, I think that we'd be better off if it was gone altogether. To be honest with you,
I do too. I
but
do
that
too.
but that just ain't gonna happen.
No. So as long as it's not being used against somebody and it's bringing people joy and making them feel good, just let it be. And
But
that's all I was
see
trying to.
the way Donald Trump is using it is evil.
Cause you know
See that's what
it is
that's
evil.
the
Cause he
type of stuff.
don't believe. Cause he's not religious.
No, but he's using it to get people on his side and saying that he's religious and all this kind of stuff, and people believe that he's religious. So
Cause
whenever
he
you
said
use it,
people.
whenever you use it like that, that is exactly the stuff that I was
That's
talking about.
evil.
Yeah.
That's the evil part. Because he's supposed to be taking Bible study classes. Something I've heard that he's supposed to start taking Bible study
Oh, it's some of that best
classes.
These
bullshit.
people
Bible
ain't
study.
they ain't checking him though in the church. They kissing his behind too in the church faction.
That's the
Who's
danger
checking? The
part.
only one is the Pope. The Pope had went back and forth, but I mean, really, like, who has scolded him and checked his ass, like saying, "Listen, with no due respect, I don't care who you are. This is the way it is. You're not above this. And you see them, their tails under in between
Yeah,
their legs,
but
man.
there's been some small preachers and pastors that came out and spoke against Donald Trump, but
Right,
that
a
didn't have no power.
handful.
But like you saying, for the most part, they accepting that mess.
Well, the Pope came out and spoke out. Pope been speaking on it because they remember
Yeah, he
they
went back and
had
forth with him.
but the Pope was standing his ground, and I was like, okay, what are the Catholics gonna do?
They stood behind
Because
Trump.
it's a bunch of them. Are y'all gonna go by the word? Are y'all Papa? But I'm a non-practicing Catholic. I know how they feel about their Pope. I know how y'all feel. What y'all gonna do? And I have to be honest, Tyrone. I was a little shocked because they were supposed to get in behind the Papa, and not enough of some of them did, but not in the way that they should. Excuse my language.
Because
That shit shocked me. That
well,
shit shocked me.
in America, that's because their racism outweigh their damn religion.
Outweigh that. Yeah. Now the people in the other countries went long. They was like, well, that's the Pope. That's what the Pope say. But too many American Catholics, they were supposed to. They were supposed to. They did, but they didn't in the way I expected it. Because I know how they are about their Pope. When I was a Catholic, I wasn't carrying on like that over the Pope, but that is who you bow down to. And the American Catholics, they shocked me. They were supposed to come out in full force against Trump. When him and them Cardinals and stuff put out them calls and said, y'all come out and we have to get out here. They put the calls out. He had his Cardinals and stuff come out here and put the call out. And a lot of them responded, but not the way they should have.
Well, J.D. Vance is a Catholic, and then at one point in time, he put this ancient threat against the Pope to where in history, I think the movement was that they killed the Pope or some crap like that, but he kind of threw that toward the Pope, and I was like, well, Jesus Christ, that's what.
I know. I was like, fix it. Me too, Tyrone. I was like, fix it, Jesus. But I don't think JD is a true Catholic. I really don't. I don't think he follows Catholicism I don't think he does. It's because I was baptized. I grew up in that. I went to school. I don't think he's a true Catholic. I think he's
I think most politicians at JD Vance level, even Trump, I think that they're non-believers. I honestly, they got to be non-believers. And they just play this religious role because of their constituents.
I mean, you think that if they believe in something that was watching over them and that's gonna, punish them once they die, would they be behaving like that? Think about that.
See, I think like Bush, I don't know, maybe Clinton, Obama. I think those people are religious and they probably believe. But when you look when you look at J.D. Vance and Donald Trump and a lot of them people up there now, I don't think that they believe. And you probably right, Elisa. Maybe they didn't believe, but they put on. They
I don't think the Obamas or the Clintons. Oh, excuse me, I got choked for a minute. The Obamas or the Clintons or the Reagans. But I do think the Carters, or the Bushes, the Carters, and I do think that Joe Biden is a devout Catholic.
Yeah, you might be right about that. Obama and Clinton and them,
they too smart for that.
They too educated. You're absolutely right.
Too educated. But when you get into politics, you got to. You have to kind of pick a thing.
Well, you can't say that you don't believe in nothing if you're gonna run for office.
No, you can't do that.
You gotta play the game, Tyrone.
Yes.
Even if you believe in this or believe in that, there's some people say, they can't come in telling them that they're Muslim, right? It's just that now in this time they said, you know what? I'm tired of that shit. I'm gonna let them know. I know there's a lot of people just like me out there, and they're gonna come and support me. And so now you have what's going on right now. But a lot of people running under this, running under that, just so
They got
because. You know what I'm
just
saying?
because.
So, I mean,
But you can't be a politician
whatever works.
and make it that far without some of that. Because look at the church that Obama and Michelle and those belonged to, Reverend Wright. That church was about community activism and different things like that.
Yeah.
So they picked that church to go. Yeah, they picked that church to go to. But I don't think that Barack and Michelle are all that religious. They might have a little spirituality with them, but I don't think they're all that religious. I doubt the Clintons are or the Reagan. Carter and his wife, the Bushes, nah. Carter and his wife, but Joe Biden is a devout Catholic.
He is.
Mm-hmm. Well, you might be right about them. You might be right about them. But I know damn Donald Trump don't believe in shit.
No.
I guarantee you, he don't believe
Donald
in shit.
Trump,
In that mighty dollar, man.
And it's not because Trump don't, in my opinion, it's not because Trump isn't religious, because like the rest of them might have some spirituality. Theirs is intelligence, why they are the way they are. Trump isn't a religious person. He don't believe in none of that because he wasn't raised with it either. You have to remember his nieces, his cousin, niece, I think his niece, or whatever she is to him. She said they weren't raised with religion at all. They didn't have anything to do with religion at all. He knows nothing about it. And there are a lot of people who weren't raised with that. And that's okay. But he wasn't raised with that. So he's pretending. He's pretending. So I believe what she's saying, he wasn't raised with it. Obama and them, and like Michelle and them, and the Clintons and all that, like growing up, like building them group in the South, and they were all raised with it, Baptists and all that kind of stuff. But after they've gone through so much of school and so much of different things that they got involved with, they turn like a lot of other people turn, and they believe in science and different things. That's the Obamas and the Clintons and the Reagans and stuff. And I don't know if the Bushes, probably them too. But Trump was never raised with it.
Well,
never raised with
what
that.
he was doing, you think he believes in anything? I think they all have their thing and maybe justify, like Bush justified the war, even though it was all crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Bush. Bush was an evil motherfucker. I don't know why I said Bush.
But he wasn't raised. He's stupid. But he's not a religious person. But Trump, they weren't raised with that. Trump was about religion. They weren't raised with that.
And that just shows you how stupid their base is, because every one of their religious base believes somehow or another that Donald Trump believes in God.
He don't. He was not raised with that. And his niece said it. None of them were. They wasn't raised to believe, not to believe. They wasn't raised with it at all.
That's it.
But Joe Biden and that's the crazy part with Joe. Joe Biden is a devout Catholic. And that's the odd thing.
At Sunday Mass, for sure.
At Sunday Mass. I remember when I quit going to Mass.
Well, yeah. The other presidents.
With that.
The other presidents would pop up in a church from time to time and do all that, sing or hum, but Donald Trump Donald Trump would catch fire if he walked through a goddamn door of a church. He
don't know about no church. That's why
fire because that shit is. If it's a good church, then. But if he walks in those phony churches, they're gonna love him and the fire's gonna burn all around them and hallelujah.
I cannot remember that movie with the Italian actor, not Robert De Niro, but the other one, who played the Godfather. Al Pacino, yeah. That movie when he played the devil, y'all remember that movie?
Oh, The Devil's Advocate. That was a good movie.
Devil's Advocate. And he was the devil, Al Pacino.
Yeah.
And he was walking up in the churches and stuff. And I forget the other guy that starred in the movie, the one that
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves asked them about that, walking up in these churches and stuff. Y'all supposed to, you can't just be walking up in those churches, because he's thinking like vampires and evil people. They can't go into a church. And this would be Trump. I can go in a sense any church that I want to. You know, because he was talking about beliefs and this and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have none of that, you can go wherever you want,
Yeah, that's true.
and that would be Trump. Trump can go in any church he want. Ain't nothing gonna bother because he has no background, no nothing, no belief, no nothing in that. So that's just like walking in the post office. It really is.
Yep. But look, y'all, I got to go. I
Me
appreciate it.
too.
And y'all can stay on here. YouTube,
good
if
show,
y'all
good
want to
show.
talk, y'all can call in. We didn't get no screaming people tonight, so that's a good thing.
I know that's good. You wanna know why? I'm gonna put this out there. And as far as listening to the show, he bring it up in somebody else's show. It's because the embarrassment of this problem. Maybe I could be wrong, Sarge. That embarrassment with their food truck and all of, and Trump is being taunted and all of that just looks so bad. And I think Sarge ain't gonna call in when that kind of stuff. Y'all notice that, right?
Well, no, Sarge won't call in, and if he did, he would lie about it. So that's just what he
Well,
do.
well, that's why I wouldn't have called it here tonight because that's so embarrassing, and the whole world is laughing and making jokes about us. Not us, but him. I ain't had nothing to do with it. But we'll see where we're at next week, Tyrone.
All right. Y'all take it easy.
Good show, man. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
All right, then.
Q&A session is over. All participants are unmuted.